presentation of New York Yankee baseball on Fox 5.
It wasn't supposed to be this easy against Cleveland, but the Yankees enjoyed a laugher yesterday. Hideki Irabu shut down Indians' bats, while Chili Davis led the 21-run attack with 5 hits. The Indians are left wondering what happened as they have dropped the first 2 at the stadium. Today, the rocket blasts off as the Yankees go for the sweep next. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to New York Yankees baseball here on Fox 5. This afternoon, the Yankees wrap up this 3-game series and this 11-game homestand with the Cleveland Indians. And taking the mound for Cleveland, Bartolo Colon, and he will face off versus the Rocket, Roger Clemens for the Yankees. It has been an incredible 11-game homestand as the fans file in at one of the most famous stops of the subway system, 161st Street Station here at Yankee Stadium. Hello, everybody. I'm Bobby Mercer along with Tim McCarver. Susan Wallman will be along a little bit later on. Welcome to New York Yankees baseball here on Fox 5. Tim, it has been an incredible 11-game homestand. We've seen a lot here. We've seen a perfect game. We've seen come-from-behind wins by the Yankees. Yesterday, a 21-hit attack, and it really heated places up, especially Chili, and I'm talking about Chili Davis.
I love the headlines in the Post today, a 21-run salute, and that's what it was yesterday, headed by Chili Davis. Here shown against Tom Candiotti, hitting a 3-run homer, and this made it 18-1. Bobby mentioned yesterday it was almost like Casey Kasem. The hits kept right on coming.
And Chili Davis had 5 of those hits. He also added 6 runs batted in for Chili, so Chili has really heated up in this homestand. On the other hand, it's been rather smelly for the Cleveland Indians. I'm talking about their pitching. 30 runs the Yankees have scored off this ball club in 2 days. So what does Mike Hargrove do? He breaks out the Colon. I'm talking about Bartolo Colon.
I like your choice of words, and also the Cleveland Indians have to like their choice of pitchers this afternoon. He has been red hot. Here shown against the Houston Astros in an interleague game, of course, getting Jeff Bagwell. And now Craig Biggio. High heat.
And since the All-Star break, Colon really coming on 2-0, .56 earned run average, 9.3 with his record this season. So he is pitching well for the Indians, and they will have to pitch well against the Yankees this afternoon. Roger Clemens goes for this New York Yankee ball club. Been rather back and forth for Roger, and he won't be satisfied until he returns back to that Cy Young form that he had.
The Yankees and Roger Clemens looking for more consistency out of Roger in the second half of the season. He has been so-so at best this year for the Yankees. Here shown against Brian Jordan, again an interleague game. Brian with a double on that slider, and that has been a dangerous pitch for Roger Clemens so far this year. Shane Andrews of the Montreal Expos going down on the splitter, and if Roger Clemens can stay ahead, as it is the case with most pitchers, it's certainly the case with Roger.
Still struggling, you can see, since the All-Star break, 1-1, but that earned run average, not Roger Clemens' form, obviously. So it will be a big crowd on hand to watch Roger try to break out of it as the Yankees finish up this 11-game homestand. We're going to have all the action for you here on Fox 5. Stay with us.
Nice.
Part 5, your local Toyota dealer. Toyota every day. And by Budweiser, now is the perfect time to enjoy a brewery-fresh, Beechwood-aged Budweiser. And by Ford Cars and Trucks, built for the way you live at your tri-state quality Ford stores. And by Red, now your business can enjoy the same internet speed of a big business, but Red high-speed digital connectivity. You can call 1-888-RED-2000 today. Well, there's all kinds of ways to get to Yankee Stadium, as the Rocket prepares to make his 18th start for the Yankees this afternoon as they close out this 11-game homestand. Those are the stats. They're not satisfactory as far as Roger Clemens is concerned. Pretty good overall if you look at pitching in baseball, but not for Roger Clemens. Clemens has made some adjustments this afternoon. We'll talk about one of those, but we had a chance to talk to the pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre, and ask him about Roger Clemens and some of those adjustments that he's made. Here's what he had to say.
I thought last game he threw the ball real well in spurts. He's been in and out with these mechanics and stuff pretty much all year. And really, last game I thought was he threw more fastballs, which we're encouraging him to do, and he turned the ball loose a little bit more, became a little bit more intimidating pitching inside, and that's one of the things I think he was kind of feeling for earlier in the season.
Well, Roger has also changed his number today. He is now wearing number 22 instead of 12 when he started the season for the Yankees. Of course, the significance in 12 was 21 turned backwards. That was his old number. This number here is the number that his son, Kobe, wore during the All-Star break when Kobe was playing in one of the international games up in Cooperstown. And so in order to make some changes here and honor Kobe and his number, he's wearing number 22. So Roger will face off versus this Indian lineup brought to you by Thuman, Kenny Lofton, Omar Vizquel, Roberto Alomar, Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, Jacob Cruz, Russ Branyan at the designated hitter spot, Enrique Wilson, and then Enar Diaz.
By the way, Bobby, that's not the last time Roger will be at Cooperstown either. The defense for the Yankees, Ricky Leday, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill in the outfield, Scott Brocious, Derek Jeter, Chuck Knobloch, and Tino Martinez at first, Jorge Posada with his best offensive game of the season yesterday.
Well, Kenny Lofton takes the first pitch in for a call strike, and that's something that Stottlemyre, Roger looking to make changes today, is throwing more strikes and more strikes with his fastball. Lofton having a big year, and right now Roger in front, no balls and 2 strikes.
Jim McKeon behind the plate, and if he calls that high strike, it is not going to be a day like yesterday. It's going to be a tough day for hitters because both pitchers today, high fastball pitchers.
He got the memo. And that pitch, another fastball, 3 fastballs in a row, and that pitch just missing high and outside. I'm talking about the memo that was sent by baseball to the umpires, requiring them or asking them to call the high strike again. That pitch outside, that's the first breaking ball, split finger. Now it's 2-2. Talk about the numbers of Kenny Lofton. Lofton, with this ball club, losing 5 in a row. Talking about the Indians. Lofton has the best on-base percentage of any leadoff hitter in baseball today. Now Roger has fallen behind 3-2.
Roger really flying open with that fastball. Not only because of the results, you can almost see that front shoulder really flying out of there.
You wonder what kind of attitude the Indians will have today. They're not going to have a good attitude to start off with their leadoff hitter as Lofton strikes out. But I'm talking to him about the attitude of the players being drummed up and beaten pretty badly by the Yankees yesterday in that 21-run game.
I tell you the truth, I think it doesn't matter. They could have won yesterday. They have the same attitude today. That's the way I look at it. I mean, that's one of the great things about baseball. You play 162 games a season, and it's the guy who can forget what just happened, and what just happened was real bad to the Indians.
Omar Vizquel takes one in there for a call strike. So as we see early on, like we talked to Stottlemyre, and he said they want to establish the fastball. And Clemens throwing about 75% of his pitches here, the first 2 batters fastballs. That missing outside.
Take it to an individual standpoint. Did you ever go 0 for 5 in a game and the next day just feel like, I'll probably go 0 for 5 again today? No way.
Come on, I went 0 for 5 a lot, and but when I came back, I felt like that I was going to turn that around.
Absolutely.
I wasn't expecting it 0 for 5. That's negative thought.
Yeah.
And players can't play 162 games and have a negative thought every time they come out. I know exactly what you're talking about, and you're right. And this ball club for Cleveland, they have been winners in the past. They are veterans. I mean, you look up and down, Lofton, Vizquel, Thome, Alomar. I mean, these guys are veterans. They know what 162 game schedule is all about. Now it's 2-2 count to Vizquel.
Well, Mel Stottlemyre giving us the scoop for this game. Only one splitter of the first 10 pitches. The rest have been fastballs.
That pitch fouled back and out of play. So a 2-2 count to Vizquel. One out for the Indians here in the top of the first. And Roger trying to win his 10th game for the New York Yankees. He has lost 4, but the earned run average is 4.90. And he doesn't like that. There it is. Clemens has struck out the first 2 up here in the first inning. And showing that blazing fastball like we have come to know and love in baseball.
Roger airing it out over the first 2 hitters. First Lofton and now Vizquel. Well, that's a nasty location. Front corner. Posada actually caught that ball off the plate. That means good movement from Clemens.
We understand that Clemens' fastball now around 95, 96 miles an hour. And Roberto Alomar. Roberto having another big year for him. 321, 15 home runs, 70 runs batted in. Talk about a double play combination. Alomar and Vizquel. No better 2 in baseball today. Now it's a 1-1 count. Fastball up and high and outside, so it's 2 balls and a strike to Alomar. Cleveland only scoring 1 run yesterday, and that is very significant because this Indian ball club comes in with the best offense in baseball, especially in the American League. That'll be fouled left side, and it will go to 2-2 if you count, with 2 men out. Grove, it's been a tough after the All-Star play for the Indians as his pitching is falling. Alomar having to throw his bat, and that looked like one of those quick-fingered pitches from Clemens to stay alive. He just threw the bat at it.
Just like the Bee Gees, staying alive on the splitter. That's the only thing Alomar could do, not knowing whether it's a strike, protecting the outside part of the plate, and fortunately for Roberto, making contact.
Well, you know from handling the pitches that you've handled throughout your career. I know from hitting. When you establish that fastball, it makes every pitch that you throw after that much better. Chopper and knocked down nicely by Martinez. There's Clemens. Martinez solid. Clemens covering. Good inning to start it off for Roger Clemens. Striking out 2 and 3. No score. Yankees coming up. Here at the stadium, an impressive start for the Yankees starter, Roger Clemens. This is the starter for the Cleveland Indians, Bartolo Colon. As you take a look at his numbers, 9 and 3, 4.69 earned run average, almost identical to Roger Clemens. And both the win-loss and the ERA. But he is establishing himself as one of the mainstays of this rotation for Mike Hargrove. We had a chance to talk to Mike Hargrove about Colon. Here's what he had to say.
He's keeping the ball down, keeping it in the strike zone, and throwing all his pitches over for strikes. His velocities, from 93 to 99 miles an hour. He hit 100 a couple of times in Houston. So I mean, he can, when he's on his game, he can be a very dominating pitcher. The key with Bartolo, as it is with anybody, is to throw strikes and stay ahead of the hitters.
Well, you talk to managers, you talk to pitching coaches, and you talk to the successful pitchers, the Hall of Fame guys, and the first thing that they will tell you is you have to throw strikes. And Colon has really been throwing strikes since the All-Star break as Chuck Knobloch swings. First pitch fouled back and out of play. And this could really be a boost for this Cleveland ball club because their pitching is pretty much decimated at this particular time. In the first 2 games of this series, they started a 41-year-old knuckleballer, Tom Candiotti. And then yesterday, a 38-year-old left-hander, Mark Langston. Knobloch to this scale. Knobloch is gone, so one out. That'll bring up Derek Jeter. Let's take a look at the rest of the Yankee lineup. Jeter coming up, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez to follow, and of course the hot Silly Davis. Ricky Leday, Jorge Posada, Scott Brocious brought to you by Thumann's, that lineup.
Cleveland defense, Jacob Cruz in left, Kenny Lofton in center, Manny Ramirez the right fielder, Enrique Wilson the third baseman, Vizquel and Alomar, they have no peers around second, Jim Thome at first, and Einar Diaz behind the plate.
Jeter, the leading hitter in the American League. Good pitch by Colon on the outside corner. That 21 run and 21 hit attack the Yankees put on the Indians yesterday. Jeter was 1 for 3 as Joe Torre chose to rest some of his starters. Now it's 0-2 to Jeter. And Derek also has extended his 93 out of 95 times that he has been on the base pass for the Yankees. You know, one of the stats that I think is really incredible is that Jeter has not gone consecutive games hitless all year long.
He's only gone 10 games without a hit this year.
One and two. Well, that just firms it up on what we were talking about. And Jeter yesterday, talking to him before the game, he was talking about, well, you know, I'm not hitting. I'm going to have to make some changes. He's batting .371. First, when I heard I got to start making some changes, what he was talking about is that he is now jumping at the baseball. So he's not seeing it well. He's not able to stay back like he was when he was in that good groove. I said, I hope you're not talking about changing your hand position or the way you stand in the batter's box. No, he said, I got to be more patient and start swinging at better pitches. Hits this one well into right field, but Ramirez is there. So 2 gone for New York here in the bottom of the first.
Take a look at our Charles Schwab scouting report on Bartolo Colon. An excellent high fastball. So the Yankee hitters will try to make him get the ball down. He needs more variation in speeds to be a top winner and a consistent winner. But in my view, this young man is going to be a consistent winner in the big leagues. Excellent fastball, and that's a good pitch off of which to work.
I agree with you. As Paul O'Neill takes a called strike. O'Neill with his average up to 295 and 11 home runs, 63 runs batted in. A lot of production for the Yankees. You talk about Jeter, O'Neill, Williams, Martinez, Davis.
Media guide says that Bartolo Colon is 6 feet tall. I don't believe it. I don't think he's taller than 5'10". He weighs 225 pounds and gets a lot of his velocity from the lower part of his body, like Roger Clemens. Thick thighs, thick calves, and he uses the lower part of his body very, very well. Boy, those are some thunder thighs right there.
They are that.
Yep.
You talk about drop and drive. He has got a lot to drop and drive with. It's more like a linebacker.
Yeah, he does.
Inside, and that will establish that heater inside on the left-handed batter here at Yankee Stadium.
Diaz moving inside, and the pitch staying down, but knocking Paul O'Neill back off the plate. Show me a pitcher does not pitch inside, and I'll show you a loser. Got to pitch inside.
Well, Colon has never lost against the Yankees. He is 2-0 lifetime with a .95 earned run average. And that's not foul out of left field line.
Not only that, Bobby, but Bartolo Colon pitched the first complete game in postseason by a Cleveland Indians pitcher since Bob Lemon did it against the Giants back in 1954. That was Game 3 of last year's ALCS. So he's not been beaten by the Yankees during the season, regular season, nor during postseason.
And you know, I don't know if this is significant or not, but that thrashing the Yankees threw out to the Indians yesterday, but in his first career start versus the Yankees, it was a lopsided victory for the Indians as they beat the Yankees 11-0. Chopper right side, and Alomar will throw out O'Neill. So the Yankees are gone. 1, 2, 3. We played one here at the stadium. No score.
They're twice as bright as halogen lights. They illuminate 70%.
It'll be a 1-1 pitch. He popped him up. He's going to get it. Roches down from third. Roches makes the catch. Ball game over. A perfect game. A perfect game for David Cone. It is the third perfect game in Yankee Stadium history.
Where will you be when the next great moment happens? Get your tickets now at the Yankee Stadium box office through Ticketmaster. Yankee Clubhouse stores are on the web at www.yankees.com.
No score here in the second inning. We realize that there's a difference between the height of Roger Clemens and Bartolo Colon, about 5 inches. But you get an idea from these shots about the leg drive of both pitchers. See Roger Clemens with that tremendous power in the bottom part of his body, and the same for Bartolo Colon. Drop and drive, as Bobby said.
And you talk about power. That's what's setting at the plate now for Cleveland, as Roger is ball one, no strike to Manny Ramirez. Manny with those 26 home runs, and of course he leads the American League with runs batted in, 101. That pitch fouled back and out of play.
He's not going to hit that pitch. That ball right around the letters from Roger Clemens. He'll hit a hanger or something, but not that high fastball.
If he started yesterday swinging, he may catch up with it.
Start swinging from your hotel room, right?
Well, Manny has caught up with a lot of balls, and to go along with those terrific numbers, he's batting .321, but only .167 against Clemens. There's the breaking ball, just missing a bit up high.
That's the first breaking ball that Clemens has thrown in the early going.
Clemens striking out 2 of 3 in the first inning. This is with a fastball low and outside. Now it's 3-1. That's the first 3-1 count to a hitter. And the CNET batting leaders, as you can see, career home runs players born in the Dominican Republic. And you see where Manny Ramirez sets on that list at 7. Sammy Sosa obviously leading. Swing and a miss. So now it's 3-2 on a fastball you got to be expecting on a 3-1 count.
And that gives you an idea. If you are looking for it, you still can't get around. And Roger Clemens is throwing hard.
Ramirez, one of those 6-foot, 205-pounders. That'll be out of play. One of the things that he has done, like a lot of these other players in baseball, he has hit the weight room. And he has really bulked up. Look how big he is through the chest area. Also has gone to a sports psychologist. Many players are using sports psychologists today to get their head straight along with their physical attributes. Got in on the hands, and it's a high fly ball into left field. Good hang time for Ricky Leday. One gone. Well, Fox 5 and the Toyota dealers are proud to present World Championship New York Yankees baseball. Now available on the SAP channel of your television. Don't miss it.
Talking about a guy who can catch up with a high fastball, that's Jim Thome. He likes the ball down, but this guy with a quicker bat than Ramirez.
I think especially from the left side, you feel a little bit more comfortable against the right-handed pitcher.
Good point. That's true.
You know, you're not kind of backing out a little bit on your heels like right-handers would be, in case Roger wants to show a little chin music for you. Well, it's 0-2 on Jim Thome. Talk about Ramirez and how strong he is. You talk about somebody strong, probably one of the strongest in baseball is Jim Thome. Don't miss. Outside, and now it's 1-2.
hitters have different timing devices, and Jim Thome, no different from most guys. They just do it in odd ways. You kind of watch Thome how with the right hand he points the bat at the pitcher until he's ready to deliver the ball.
Outside.
Almost like an artist who holds that thumb up with the painting and the whole bit. Jim Thome, an artist in his own right. This guy is a real slugger.
Offers one bob on their putting.
Yeah, right.
And there's that high fastball, unable to catch up with it, so count remains 2-2.
By the way, along the lines of minutia, Yankee starters have retired the last 31 batters on Sunday. Cone, 27 in a row last Sunday, and 4 today. Told you it was minutia.
I was sort of skeptical in the beginning with minutia.
You didn't know where I was going with that, did you? I didn't either.
Now I totally understand.
David Cone with the 15th perfect game last Sunday. Clemens has retired 4 in a row here today, but Roger, this is impressive in the early going. You never know how it's going to turn out for any pitcher, but it's a different approach for Clemens this afternoon.
Just missing inside, and now the count will go to 3-2 on Thome. 1 out here in the second, no score. Well, you see those pitching coaches, you see the hitting instructors, they're always watching for something that they can pick up. That'll be out of play again. And when you see hitters like this, Manny Ramirez, those power hitters that are fouling those balls back, there's a purpose in that because that fastball's got some zip to it through the strike zone. They can't get that bat head out, and they're catching it even with them and underneath it. Well, we've got a big crowd on hand again this afternoon. I expect it's another sellout here in Yankee Stadium like yesterday. Just do it by. Another strikeout for Clemens. It's 3 so far in the game.
It looked like Roger saved that slider for a different look. That looked like a slider. Could have been a fastball, but it appeared to me that it had a little wrinkle in it somewhere. And Jim Thome, looking for a fastball, gave up on it, and Clemens gets his 3rd strikeout.
And I think you're right. With all the fastballs that he threw, you and I were talking about establishing the fastball to make those other pitches more effective. That wasn't a great breaking ball.
No.
But it was effective enough because of all the fastballs.
It doesn't have to be as good when you throw that many fastballs.
Right. Well, that's sort of innovative. We've got so many great innovative fans that come to Yankee Stadium and put those strikes up on the facade. This is Jacob Cruz. And a foul ball off the left side. That's a 1-1 count. That's Mike DeMuro down at 3rd. He's the son of Lou DeMuro, who was the umpire here in the American League for so many years. And what a great guy. What a job he did. Tragically killed in an accident. Seems like we just hear that so many times, what we've gone through here in New York the last week or so at JFK and that tragedy and his plane going down with his wife and sister-in-law. 20th anniversary of Thurman Munson and a tragedy that we all will relive coming up. That plane crash of his, so live life till its fullest, because you never know. That's down low, ball 2, 2-1 now to Jacob Cruz with 2 outs here in the top of the second. No score between the Yankees and the Indians. Clemens has fallen behind 3-1. And right now he's got the great zip on the fastball. I don't know if he has to be that fine. He can just throw it right down Broadway, and I think he can get away with it. See, just like that.
Time to challenge, time to finesse. This is a time to challenge.
You're totally right. Clemens has struck out 4 of the first 6 hitters he has faced in this game so far. No score, Yankees coming up. Score here in the bottom of the second. Yankees coming up. Well, Bart and Homer shifted to Homer drive and hit the open road. And prepare for a deep impact as a great ball of garbage heads straight for the earth. That's Simpsons and Futurama tonight beginning at 8 on Fox 5. One of Tim McFarland's and my favorite shows coming up tonight at 8 o'clock here on Fox 5.
I'll be there.
And of course, we enjoy watching the Yankees. And I hope you enjoy watching the Yankees here on Fox 5 as Bernie Williams leads it off against Bartolo Colon. And Bernie supporting that .336 average, 15 home runs, 62 runs batted in. I was mentioning we were talking about 72 RBIs by Jeter. That leads the American League. I mean the Yankee ball club. 63 by O'Neill, 62 by Williams, 60 by Martinez, and Davis now close to 60 RBIs. That's pretty good production. That's a payload. And the 2-0 pitch up high. Now it's 3 balls and no strikes. You would wonder, does Colon go back to the dugout when Roger is pitching, and does he study a guy like Roger Clemens, who's won 5 Cy Youngs? They both basically have somewhat the same technique. Colon walking the first batter in his game. That's the leadoff walk to Bernie Williams.
The answer to that is an indefatigable no. And I'll tell you why. Because pitchers are so locked into themselves when they're pitching, they rarely will notice the other guy. The times that a guy like Colon would notice a guy like Clemens is when he's not pitching. That's when pitchers do their studying. But rarely will you see guys looking at the other guy and figuring out this and figuring out that because they've got so much to worry about with themselves.
Right now, Colon has to figure out Bernie on at first and Tino Martinez at the plate. And it's strike 1 to Tino. Colon only 24 years old. And just turned 24 in May. So he's got a bright future ahead of him. Fly ball with lots of hang time at right field. So Manny puts it away, 1 gone for New York.
Number 45, Chili Davis.
Well, the big applause will be for this guy right here, Chili Davis. Man, oh man, what a month he had yesterday. He was 5 for 6. Drove in 6 runs for the Yankees, including his 14th home run.
At least a good week yesterday, right?
A month for some of us,
yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Chili also has 9 hits in his last 12 at-bats. Let's take a look at our American Express quote book. 21 runs against these guys isn't any kind of message. Against a team you know you can dominate. Maybe there's one, but they're a team we expect to see again. And I think he's pointing to postseason play. Outside for a ball. Now it's 2-0. So Colon now flirting in some dangerous territory, pitching in behind these hitters here in the second.
Chili, the type of guy who would have to make the ball be down against Colon more than any other Yankee hitter. Reason for that is Chili's hands are not as quick as the younger guys. Got to cheat just a little more.
Lines it to Vizquel. And if Vizquel hadn't gotten turned around, he may have doubled Bernie off at first base.
Even on a 2-0 count, Chili hitting the ball the other way. We were kidding about Jacob Cruz in the second inning as Vizquel makes a rather routine play, kind of stumbled. You're right. Never get doubled off. If you're the runner at first, don't get doubled off on a line drive to the left side. You're only going to second anyway. That an idea of how Chili Davis. Chili's more dangerous now at this point in his career. Third, fourth at bats when pitchers tire. Handle that 90-mile-an-hour fastball that's down, but a little tougher time with the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Of course, anybody's going to have a tough time with those fastballs.
You just have to gear it up a notch or two as Ricky Leday steps in with a couple of men out. Joe Torre now beginning to get some production out of his left field position, but Chad Curtis swinging the bat pretty good. Ricky Leday has come on.
See, that pitch right there to a guy like Ricky Leday is much more in his zone than it is Cologne's zone. That ball down. We've talked about it several times this year that it takes quicker hands to hit a high fastball than it does a low fastball. A low fastball, you just drop the bat head on it. A high fastball, you have to extend the bat head a little more than a yard farther than on the low pitch.
Up high, no chance to extend the bat on that one. Leday pinch ran for Paul O'Neill in yesterday's game in the 5th inning. He ended up getting a couple of base hits, so he was 2 for 2. He scored 2 runs and knocked in 3. That's after coming into the game in the 5th inning. The Yankees could do no wrong as far as offense was concerned yesterday. That time the fastball on the outside corner. Now it's 2-2.
Front corner fastball from Cologne. Talked about it yesterday. Often a pitcher has so much late movement, a guy like Cologne or Clemens, a lot of major league pitchers, that you can hit that front corner and the catcher actually catches it off the plate.
But it's where the ball first hits the plate is what the umpire is supposed to call. There goes Bernie on the 2-2 count. Swung on a miss, so it won't make any difference. So Leday strikes out. That leadoff walk, no damage for Cologne. We played 2, no score. The Yankee Stadium here in the top of the 3rd. I told you Susan Wallman would be here, and she is here in the 3rd inning. And Susan, you got to be fairly happy. I know the Yankees are happy. Roger Clemens has struck out 4 of the first 6 batters he's faced.
And it's not even just the results, Bobby. It's what he's doing. The tempo, the way you were talking about drop and drive, going straight towards the plate and using fastballs.
Something that he kind of got away with, from. Tim and I were talking about it. This is Russ Branyan, the rookie third baseman, designated hitting for Hargrove this afternoon. And that pitch foul back and out of play.
Right there you also see him going inside, which he's done with regularity in the first 2 innings. Now this looks like Roger Clemens.
You know, if you talk to Derek Jeter, Clemens knocked Jeter down so many darn times trying to establish that fastball. Jeter's got to be saying, hey, come back with some more of that chin music. That's the way you pitch. Right now it's a 1-1 count to Branyan, and now it's 2-1.
You haven't talked much about Russell Branyan in the last 2 days, but remember this kid's name, Russell Branyan, because if he doesn't get hurt and continues to develop, they're talking about him as a left-handed Mark McGwire clone. But what he does is strike out much too much. He's got almost 600 strikeouts in 1,500 professional at-bats, but he's got amazing power.
That's way too many with a 2-2 count on him here. He's got the power, as David Cone realized. And there's another strikeout for Clemens. And Branyan is gone.
And that's what you love to see, Bobby. Come at this guy with the fastball. He's a rookie. You're Roger Clemens. Go after him. Fastball right down the middle of the plate on the inside part of the plate. Now, if you look at Clemens straight ahead, there are those mechanics that he did not have before. See, I still contend that he wasn't totally healthy or isn't totally healthy, because there's no reason why this man was not pitching the way he should unless there was something wrong.
Well, our General Motors trivia question, who was the first shortstop to lead the American League in slugging percentage? And we'll come back with that answer somewhere down the line. That'll be pulled, foul down the right field line. Well, Stottlemyre, Susan, I don't know if you saw the little clip that we had. Stottlemyre before the game, he brought it up. He said, Clemens, he said, I'm convinced he's 100% healthy.
Okay.
Is what Mel Stottlemyre said. Now, I'm sure they do converse, and but you bring up a pointed question. I mean, in something that's been in everybody else's mind. You know, what the heck is going on with Roger that could be something in the injury department?
Now, I think this is only the second or third split that we've seen all afternoon, and you can see the split of the fingers in the glove there, and that's a beauty because he's already established the fastball to Wilson right there.
Not a very hefty swing by Enrique Wilson, so the count remains 0-2.
If he is totally healthy, Bobby, and it is a pressure thing, or he wants so badly to be quote-unquote Roger Clemens, and people compare him against himself, and he would never admit it. I think he's a little embarrassed for the results, but Joe Torre really helped him when he went to him and he said, I don't care about your stats, just get me the win. Just win, baby, as Al Davis used to say.
Yeah, I don't care if it's pretty or not. Just give us a chance to win each and every time you go out there, which Roger had basically done. And Joe Torre certainly is happy with that. And Joe, I know, feels, along with Stottlemyre, that the Yankees winning 114 games last year, Roger looking for his first ring. He's putting additional pressure on himself because he wants to be the Roger Clemens of old who has won 5 Cy Youngs in his career.
Some people are their own worst enemy. Roger Clemens is totally coachable, will listen to people, and will do what people find a flaw. He'll listen, and he's very coachable. But I'm sure this is eating him up alive that he hasn't had the results that he's always had.
Popped up left side. Brocious, though, will run out of room. Count remains 2-2.
But you also like the pace that he's going right now. He's slowing down right now to let Brocious and Jeter get back in position. But he's best when you get the ball and throw it.
Well, the Yankees beat Cleveland yesterday 21-1. It was the first defeat that bad for the Cleveland Ball Club in 10 years. Play once again, so Wilson hanging tough.
And one person on that team saw both of them. Do you know when that last defeat was? It was Greg Swindell's major league debut against the Boston Red Sox. They lost 24-5, and Tom Candiotti was sitting on the bench. So he saw them both. One he pitched in, one he didn't.
Popped him up left side. Jeter will have to fight the sun, and now Ricky Latte. A good call-off by the left fielder. Tougher play for Jeter. Easier play for Leday.
Jeter going back, and we've gotten used to seeing Jeter with these backwards catches, but Leday yelling for it right there. He had the much better view. Good play by Leday.
Leday has had his problems in the outfield and has puzzled Jose Cardinal and also Joe Torre about some of his play out there. Jeter's been solid at short, obviously, and Enar Diaz, the 9th place hitter, coming up for Cleveland. Hit hard, and that'll be a base hit. Diaz getting some playing time because Sandy Alomar still on the disabled list. Normally Diaz is the backup of Alomar, but I think Hargrove and the Indians think that Alomar may be coming back very soon.
Now, this is a good job, a nice fastball, and he just swung as hard as he could, and that's all you could do with that. That was a hard fastball by Clemens. Just meet it. Just meet it. It'll go someplace.
And you got to be careful with Diaz at first base. He's got 6 stolen bases. And just a short period of time for Cleveland. He's got speed for a catcher. And Kenny Lofton takes one inside and low. Lofton struck out his first time up. The other night in that extra inning game, it was Diaz stealing second base and Enrique Wilson getting the base hit to knock him in to put the Indians in front before the Yankees came back in the bottom of the 10th inning.
And when you think about that, how unlikely is that it's Diaz and Wilson that score that run?
Roger now behind 2-0 on Lofton. Slap past Groshans into left field. Leday quickly over. Diaz will stop at second. So with 2 outs here in the third, Cleveland mounting a little bit of a charge against the Rocket.
Right now you see it looks like what they're doing is going the other way with that fastball. Second time around the order now. Look at Lofton just going right the other way. Doesn't try and get around on it. Just try and meet it. And it's going to go right, hit that spot, go right past Brocious.
So good speed on the base pass with Lofton at first, Diaz at second, and Omar Vizquel. He was knocked in 38. Runs for the Indians, batting second.
You wonder if this is going to be the last year for Vizquel at Cleveland once his contract renegotiated, and they've got Enrique Wilson in the wings there.
Got around on the fastball and pulls it foul. Vizquel batting .338 with runners in scoring position this year with 3 home runs. He has knocked in 30 in 77 chances. A lot of production from the #1 offensive ball club in the American League. Outside for a ball. Now it's 2-1. Well, it's a perfect day to stay loose. It's rather warm here at Yankee Stadium. Now block at second. And the flip toss to Martinez. So no harm done by the Indians here in the third. We played 2.5. Yankees coming up. Still no score. Unlike yesterday, no score. Yankees no hits so far coming up here in the bottom of the third. But catch the Yankees and their newest rivals, the Toronto Blue Jays, playing great baseball August the 2nd through the 4th at Yankee Stadium. Leave the office and take the kids to a rare day game on August the 4th where all fans 14 and under receive a Yankee t-shirt. That's courtesy of HIP Health Plan. Get your tickets now. Call Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212. Or you can also pick up some tickets on the web, www.yankees.com. Yankee t-shirt coming up. And coming up for the Yankees, Jorge Posada followed by Brocious, the only 2 guys not to face Colon so far. And the first pitch to Posada outside and high.
Posada having the first 4-hit game of his career yesterday in that interesting game against the Indians. Up to 228. I know up to 228 sounds funny, but when you're coming from where he's come from, that's not bad.
And that's from the depths of the low VA for Posada. And the Yankees starting to show signs of the way they played last year, getting production out of left field now. Curtis and Leday and Shane Spencer rehabbing and coming along real fast. The Yankees expecting maybe Shane to join them in Chicago maybe on Tuesday. There was some talk that Shane may show up today, but I think that's a little bit too soon, and of course it didn't happen.
Well, just for one day with the team off tomorrow and traveling tomorrow, he just might as well go. And now you'll have a Leday, Spencer platoon probably, Curtis if you need him in late innings or if somebody needs a day off. The other thing, Bobby, I find it fascinating. This team now has the best record in baseball, the best staff ERA in the league, and they're just starting to play up to their potential.
Well, with the way they played last year, 2 world championships in the last 3 years, that's got to make a lot of teams pretty nervous as they begin to pull away here in the American League East. Well, we talked about the trivia question as Posada trots down to first base. We're going to give you the answer. Brought to you by General Motors, who was the first shortstop to lead the American League in slugging percentage. A guy that's being inducted into the Hall of Fame this afternoon up at Cooperstown, Robin Yount, at 578 back in 1982.
Yeah, I was talking to some ex-brewers. There's Robin Yount. When you think that he was 18 when he did this and started doing this, it's really amazing. And Yount really changed the way shortstop was played. He was the first big, strong guy who hit with power and who could steal bases at the same time.
Scott Brosha steps in and lost one into right field. Curving back to Ramirez. One gone. Now Robin Yount along with George Brett and Nolan Ryan. But take a look at some of those numbers. Unbelievable, man, with 3,000 hits. 3,142 as a matter of fact.
You know what the most amazing one? The ALDP in 82 and 89, those are at two different positions. One at shortstop and one at center field. And to be able to do that is remarkable. He's a remarkable athlete.
You know, Susan, I kept looking at Derek Jeter and how he swings the bat, and you know, Robin Yount and Derek Jeter, the way they swing the bat, and they pretty much are similar.
Very similar.
Very similar in the way they approach hitting. Kind of tall and lanky, and have a great reach and a great command of the strike zone, but do a lot of inside-out type of hitting to right field. They can also, like Jeter this year, pull the ball down the left field line. But Jeter reminds me a lot of Robin Yount and how he hit as Knobloch. 0-1 count to Knobloch with one man out. Chopped right over Willie Randolph's head. And a souvenir baseball down that left field line. Boy, you talk about giving signs. That's pretty much pressure for third baseman, and waving those guys around third base onto home or stopping them, but also having to dodge those line drives and get out of the way.
Particularly on a day like this, a lot of baseball this weekend. Another full house here today. Yankees are going to, about what, 160,000 people for the 3 games?
At least that. Yankees going over the 2 million mark already. 2 days ago. Well hit, but look at Alabama. He's going to turn it into a double play. Nothing Posada could do. The ball was hit hard. And the reaction is to get off the back. So, Yankees are gone. We've played 3 here at the stadium, and no score. Roger Clemens shut the Indians down. No score. He has given up a couple of base hits, but he has struck out 6 of the 11. Check that, 5 of the 11 that he has faced so far in this game. And the Rocket establishing the fastball, striking out Kenny Lofton to lead the game off. And he comes right back with this scale to strike him out. Jim Thome, the big slugger from the left side. Fastball again. Branyan couldn't catch up with the fastball. So mark it down. There's 5 on the board for Clemens right now. And that's the Rocket. And right now, Roberto Alomar leads it off, followed by Ramirez and then Thome. Strike 1 to Alomar. Roger establishing, getting in front of the hitter a lot today already with that first pitch strike. Got too far inside, and Alomar will be plunked.
Is that the first batter that Roger has hit all year?
You know, I don't remember the last hitter that he hit. And I don't know if he's hit one this year or not. It's number 3. Yeah, if we look here, number 3. So he's hit 2 prior to that.
Trying to get that one inside. Lost control of that. Too far in.
Well, if you're going to be hit, that's the best place to be hit. There's a lot of things to absorb and lots of cushion to absorb the pain of the fastball from Roger. So man is on, and Manny Ramirez stepping in. And that's a little chin music from the other side.
And that one of your purpose pitches, up and in. He knew where that was going. You see that going up and in towards Manny. Just brush him back. He can get out of the way of that.
But if you take a look at where that pitch is opposed to the plate, that's just barely off the inside corner.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fans reacted more to that than the hitter did. Of course, Roger hitting the first batter, Alomar, and then coming up high and inside a bit on Ramirez. So it's ball one, no strikes, and nobody out. They've got Alomar picked up. Not stealing, and Knopfloch will put the tag on it. Alomar thought he saw something, and he took off way before Roger had delivered the ball towards home.
And you saw Roger go right over to Tino Martinez and raise his arm, and that makes a first baseman or fielder feel really good, that pickoff play. Now you saw you don't see it in your screen right now, but Roger lifting his arm up, he was pretty excited about that. And there's Knopfloch getting in front, perfect tag.
First baseman has to get inside, because if he throws it right down the line, he'll hit the batter in the back. Now it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Ramirez.
Yeah, back to that pitch on Ramirez. Don Mattingly always used to say, if someone's going to throw me a purpose pitch, that's exactly where I want it. Up and in, I can get out of the way of that one. That pitch is never going to hit me.
Quick-fingered fastball inside, swung on. And now it's 1-2. They're not good career numbers versus Clemens. Had those 3 home runs there, but batting average-wise, not doing well. Only 1 for 7 in this series against Yankee pitching Ramirez, but 0 for his last 18 now against Roger Clemens.
Try to get Ramirez to go for that high pitch just outside the strike zone.
What that high pitch does to a hitter, especially starting him off with that, is that kind of loosens him up a bit and puts another little thought process in his mind, and of course makes other pitches, especially on the outside part of the plate, not as good. A high fly ball into center field, and Bernie puts it away. So 2 gone for the Indians here in the 4th.
And you could almost hear by the sound of that hit that he got it too much towards the hands. We couldn't see where it was going, actually, because it went up and nobody really moved. But you can see right there that he didn't get all of it. And he knows too much on the end of the bat.
So that brings up the first baseman, Jim Thome, who struck out his first time up. Up high for a ball. Well, we talked about the Yankees extending their lead now in the American League East. They have a 7-game lead over Boston and also Toronto.
2 teams that right now are going in opposite directions, the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox, as Toronto has caught up to the Red Sox.
The Yankees have won 5 in a row, and Ramirez, I'm not so sure he is too happy with his time at bat, and maybe not too happy by the way Clemens was pitching him. There's not a whole lot of love lost between both of these ball clubs anyway.
Well, that was a very quiet Cleveland clubhouse yesterday after that loss.
Well, it's a struggling club. Lots of injuries. Pitching staff is in shambles. And they need a good effort by Cologne today. Good pitch by Clemens. I think that looked like a breaking ball.
But what you like so far about the...
Well, at that point right there, it appears that it would be a fastball.
That's what you like. That's what you were talking about, that he's using more fastballs than we've seen all year. And starting off hitters with fastballs, not starting with the split, not starting with the slider, going right at them with the fastball and then using the breaking pitch.
Stottlemyre talking to us before today's ball game and telling us that he wanted to establish the fastball. Roger, I think, thought that he had that on the outside part of the plate.
You see Clemens starting to walk off the mound, and that, okay. Where was that?
Well, according to Jim McKean, it was a bit outside, but it was very, very close.
Good pitch.
Popped him up. Left field, Jeter going back, and Leday having problems, and he won't find it. He got caught up in the sun. And Leday, once again, losing a ball in left field. Not able to pick it up because of that bright sunshine.
And Rickey Henderson, all the years that Rickey played here, always said this is the hardest field in baseball to play, this left field in Yankee Stadium. Rickey has no clue where that ball is. He's looking for it, never sees it. Bernie trying to help out. He gets over. Jeter going back.
It's a lost feeling because you have no clue where the ball is. You're trying to shade your eyes, and you can see that the outfielders and infielders, they all wear those sunglasses, and they wear them all the time. Jim Thome picking it up as he hits first base. Now he sees that Leday has trouble, so he moves into second.
And that was another pitch that the Cleveland hitter got off the end of the bat, very similar to Ramirez's fly ball to center field. Thome off the end of the bat, the opposite way, right to left.
Jacob Cruz, the hitter. Up high for a ball. If you remember last Sunday in the perfect game here at Yankee Stadium, the second to the last out. Ball was hit out into left field, and Ricky Leday the next day, you can see he had problems picking it up. He said he never saw it.
Never
somehow
saw
caught it.
Brocious started yelling to him and moving his hands around, come in, come in, come in. And Ricky went in and just stuck the glove out. And he said all of a sudden it was in his glove. You see him now. Now that to me is not a good sign. He keeps looking up at the sky here.
Well, you always have to keep checking where the sun is because the sun does move, and it moves in different positions. Get your bearings on where you think that sun is in case a fly ball comes up. But when you're having problems like that, you need a lot of help from your infielders and also your center fielder. And hollering at you, they can't point because you're trying to watch the ball anyway. You can't see where they're pointing, but at least direct you, kind of like Brocious did last Sunday.
And you're watching Leday try and get his game together. He started to come alive at the bat, up to 266, and now
well, we're going to do it again. Leday this time appears to have a beat on, and he does. So that ball, not a high towering fly ball. Leday puts it away. No harm done here in the fourth, and no score.
You want to have a great time right now.
At the bottom of the fourth inning, no score. Yankees looking for their first base hit, but this could have been disastrous in the fourth inning, Sid.
And there's Ricky Leday, and you see he hasn't got a clue, but he's trying to shade his eyes and get the ball, and Bernie finally gets it up and gets it back into second base. Now there's outfield coach Jose Cardinal, and they've been working every single day on outfield play. And you know, you see there Ricky is seeing, I'm shading the sun like this. Bernie says you can't do that, you have to do this.
Well, you're trying to position yourself, get sideways, pick the ball up, listen to your counterparts and see if they are directing you in the right direction. Meanwhile, Derek Jeter leading off here in the bottom of the fourth inning with a 11-game hit streak on the line. That pitch foul back and out of play.
I heard you talking about Jeter saying that he didn't like the way he was swinging the bat in the last week, and that's pretty true. The Friday night game that he won, though, at 0 for 5 and 3 strikeouts, comes up game-winning hit. He said his mother had been yelling at him the whole game, like, "Will you please do something?" So when you had that shot of his folks celebrating afterwards, he said, "Boy, it's a good thing because my mom was giving it to me."
Yeah, Charles and Dorothy Jeter. I guess everybody's a critic, including your mom, but mom is always knows best.
Listen to your mother. That's absolutely
Listen to your
right.
mom. And certainly Derek has done that.
Can you imagine, though, being Derek Jeter and having your mother yelling, do something?
Derek, of course, from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and his parents have now moved into New Jersey. And you will see them at the stadium quite a bit as they enjoy what their son is doing in baseball, along with millions of other people.
They are great people. You saw Mr. Jeter hugging people, and Mrs. Jeter was high-fiving people after that hit.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, I wonder how Derek could have heard his mother through 50,000, but I guess when your mother yells at you, you know the voice?
She was mouthing it, and he could read her lips.
He knows the voice of his mother.
Just down low, ball 3-3-2.
Meanwhile, we've got to talk about Bartolo Colon, who has not given up a hit yet. And in his last 2 starts, he's 2-0, Bobby, with a .56 ERA.
Well, talking to the Cleveland people, they said that he had been almost unhittable since the All-Star break. Well, hit into right field. Ramirez going back on the warning track. You look up, and it's gone! Jeter on a 3-2 pitch. With the first hit of this game, a home run into right field. And now Jeter with 18 home runs, and the Yankees lead it 1-0.
And of course, as Roger Clemens always says, the harder it comes in, the faster it leaves the park. And that one left the park in a hurry. Even though it was not really a line drive, what a shot by Derek Jeter, going the opposite way into right field off of Bartolo Colon.
Wow. Jeter now with that 12-game hitting streak and only 1 hit. And here comes manager Mike Hargrove. We'll take another look at this.
Too much of the plate. Jeter just meets it. And when you're throwing 95 miles an hour, all they tell you to do is to meet the ball. And those people met that ball in the 4th row of the bleachers.
The 19th home run that Colon had given up, and look at Hargrove. I don't think he is. I don't think that he did what he was supposed to do. Whatever that is, Hargrove was very upset, even though it's the first hit that Colon had given up, but it was a home run. He may have thrown a pitch or crossed up Diaz.
Well, let's see where Diaz sets up here. He's setting up on the outside part of the plate. And he's coming back in well.
It looked like where Diaz was sitting is where he threw the pitch. Unless it was supposed to be a breaking ball instead of a fastball.
Well, one would imagine that with a young pitcher and a young catcher, they're calling pitches from that dugout. Obviously, that was not what Hargrove had told him to throw. Because that is very rare that the coach, except for Lou Piniella, the manager will come out and chew out a guy on the mound.
They say that it is sometimes hard to fire, Bartolo Colon up. And that pitch inside. Now it's 1-1 to O'Neill.
But Hargrove wanting to get his point across instead of sending out Phil Reagan to do that.
We can only guess that the reason Hargrove was upset was either location or pitch. And that's down low. Now it's 2-1 to O'Neill. So the Yankees now lead at 1-0. Been a tough after the All-Star game for Mike Hargrove and his Indian Ball Club. They've lost 8 out of their last 9. They've lost 5 in a row. That doesn't always set well with the manager, no matter how banged up you are. Fitzgerald at short. So the sure-handed 6-time Gold Glover throws out O'Neill, and 1 gone.
Of course, a lot of rumors about Cleveland going out and getting a pitcher, but everybody looks at that Cleveland minor league system. They don't have a lot of people that they can give up for a David Wells or a Chuck Finley, and I don't think it's going to happen. They're not giving up Russell Branyan. They're not going to trade Enrique Wilson because they might need him next year if Vizquel leaves, if they let him go. They don't have a lot of people that they can trade.
Well, they've been talking about a year and a half of making some sort of trade to find somebody to help anchor this young pitching staff with Colon and Jarrett Wright, and of course Charles Nagy as the most experienced there. And after you get by that, they've moved Doc Gooden out of the starting rotation into the bullpen, and you have noticed what they've started here the first two games, Candiani and Langston. No balls and 2 strikes down to Williams. Bullpen has been worked quite a bit here in the last 2 games. Doc Gooden, we thought maybe we'd see him in yesterday's game, but he came up with a migraine headache and couldn't pitch.
Said he was in the clubhouse sleeping because of the medication. This has got to be a very big disappointment for Doc to be shifted back into the bullpen, not be able to pitch in Yankee Stadium. I know he thought he was going to be pitching against Cone at some point. That could have happened on Friday night, didn't. Decided to go with Candiani, and then yesterday he couldn't go.
Breaking ball high and outside. Now it's a 2-2 count to Williams. Only 4 hits in the game. Cleveland has 3. The Yankees have 1. And the Yankees have the lead 1-0.
You had mentioned that sometimes it's hard to fire up Bartolo Colon. When you talk to some of the Cleveland scouts and coaches, they'll say that he has a tendency to get very down on himself when he makes a mistake. So maybe that's what Hargrove was doing also.
That catch to the outside corner, strike 3. Second strikeout for Colon. Well, let's go back and see what Hargrove, maybe we can read some lips and what he was talking about. Obviously, he is upset. When the manager comes out, you listen.
They've got Bartolo Colon on a program, and I'm sure it's all programmed what you throw in different situations.
Well, Tino Martinez fouls the first pitch back and out of play. Tino flying out to right field his first time up. Colon's last start was against the Houston Astros in interleague play. And he
pretty
was,
well.
He was
Yeah.
real strong, and Biggio's comment after striking him out after the game, he said, well, Cleveland's looking for a #1 starter. I don't know what we saw today, but looked like a #1 starter to me.
I think what they're worried about with that is that he doesn't have the temperament to be that #1 guy. Sometimes youngsters, he's very young, he's still 23, 24, and sometimes youngsters will take too much on themselves, and he doesn't have that personality. Not yet.
Time called by Martinez.
Of the 2 youngsters, Jarrett Wright or Bartolo Colon, you can see that Wright has the personality to do that. He's aggressive, he's brash, he's very cocky.
Popped him up into that sun. Vizquel waving everybody away, and he has a beat on it all the way, as a matter of fact. But the Yankees, Derek Jeter leading off this inning, his 18th home run of the year, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
2-0 Yankees here as we go to the top of the 5th, and tonight it knows your strength, it knows your weakness, it knows your fear, and you can't hide. Don't miss the X-Files tonight at 9, only on Fox 5. Susan Waldman along with Tim McCarver back here as Roger Clemens takes the mound in the top of the 5th, and Roger Clemens looking like Roger Clemens.
He really is. There's a determination with Roger this afternoon. You can see it in his eyes that has not been apparent earlier in the year, and not because of the result or anything like that, but he is really going after the Indian hitters this afternoon.
Russell Branyan at the plate, and he struck out for Rogers' 5th strikeout in the 3rd inning. Good-looking young player, Russell Branyan, strikes out too much, but an awful lot of power. They really like this kid.
Struck out 165 times in AAA ball this year.
High fastball. the strike two, and that's something, Tim, that we haven't seen from Clemens all year, that high fastball.
And really establishing it also, coming right out, and as Mel Stottlemyre told Bobby Mercer before the game, and we had it on the air, sticking with the fastball. The problem with that slider, not only that Roger Clemens throws, but any pitcher, it's, in my view, it's the most dangerous pitch that can be hit for a home run, that can be hit with authority, not a base hit type pitch, but a power pitch. You can make a lot of mistakes with that slider.
There's a swing and a miss on the Clemens fastball, and that's Clemens' 6th strikeout of the afternoon, 2nd for Russell Branyan.
Bullseye.
Bullseye. And of course, it's Hall of Fame day today, and some of our favorite people going in today. And there he is, George Brett, going to the Hall of Fame. And I wonder how many times he's going to cry in his speech. He's been so emotional.
Two people, his father and Charlie Lau. And he has said that it's easy to get through the first group of people, but when he gets to his dad and Charlie Lau, he might lose it.
It's a foul up third base stance. You know what's interesting is that George Brett talking about having to go against his father for the first time in his life when he listened to Charlie Lau, because they had two very distinct ideas on hitting. And he said it really tore him up to not listen to his dad for the first time in his life. Breaking pitch low for a ball. 1-1 to Enrique Wilson. Wilson playing third base today. Branyan DHing. Travis Fryman out for a couple of months. That's why you see Branyan and Wilson at third. There's a breaking pitch low for a ball.
Robin Yount, Nolan Ryan, Orlando Cepeda. I could not be happier for anybody going into the Hall of Fame. And Orlando, teammate of mine, and with the Cardinals in '66, '7, and '8. I'm going to tell you a little story. When you find your pin.
Down to the knock-block, over to Martinez for the second out.
We drop things all the time up here. Glasses going everywhere, media guides, scorecards. I've had 2 scorecards blow out of the booth over the last couple of years. Knock-block.
Setting with that one.
Well, that's not more of an indication. That was more a flip than a throw. I mean, that's the way I saw it. It appeared. It's still there. It's not just as it's not as glaring as it has been.
Well, he's made some incredible plays. It's just the error the other night could have been disastrous if the Yankees had lost that game.
That's
that brings
true.
up Einer Diaz, young catcher, catching a lot now because Sandy Alomar on the DL. Low for a ball.
I was invited to Orlando Cepeda's the retiring of his number 2 days before the All-Star break. Because of the All-Star commitment, I couldn't go. So I sent him a case of champagne. He was the honorary captain for the National League during the All-Star game, and he got me. You know what he said? With a straight face, he's a very funny guy. He said, "It wasn't brute." I said, "Well, pardon me, Mr. Enologist," and he got me.
Wow.
And I'm thinking he's serious. And then he started laughing.
What did you say?
And then he started. Well, I sent him.
You sent him that bubbly stuff, that sweet stuff.
It was an American champagne. It was Schramsberg, as a matter of fact. It was good. Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, and I'm thinking. And well, he got me. Then he started laughing, and naturally, I fell for it. He got me.
They served that at the White House, Schramsberg.
Yeah.
1-2 to Diaz. Swinging a foul to the left side. How would I know that? He's
How would you know that?
Tim McGovern saying, how does she know they served Schramsberg at the White House?
Yeah. But anyway, Orlando is just a dear friend, and it was a great player for the Giants and for the Cardinals. The first unanimous MVP in 1967 since Carl Hubble was the unanimous MVP in 1936.
I'll tell you another story. I was talking to on my radio show to Cecil Cooper this morning about Robin.
Yeah, you told me you were going to call.
And he told me that when he came up to the Red Sox for the first time, he actually replaced Orlando Cepeda. And when he came up at the end of the year preceding, when Orlando was
73.
73, and he said he was so nice to him, and he said he'll never forget the kindness that he showed him when he came up at the end of that year. High pop-up. Tino Martinez camping under it, and another easy inning for Roger Clemens. So as we go to the bottom of the fifth, 1-0 Yankees. Derek Jeter's homer the difference. New York Yankees baseball on Fox 5 is brought to you in part by your local Lincoln Mercury dealer, who invites you to come in and see the full line of Lincolns and Mercuries today. By Continental Airlines, our priorities are simple, they're yours. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. And by your local Honda dealer, who invites you to discover the value of Honda today. Bottom of the fifth inning, 1-0 Yankees. Yankees only have one hit, but it counted. It was a homer by Derek Jeter in the last inning. This inning, the Yanks will send up Chili Davis, Ricky Leday, and Jorge Posada against youngster Bartolo Colon. That's up and out of the strike zone for ball one to Chili Davis. Chili having a career day yesterday.
Yeah, Bobby said a good month. That's about sums it up.
Everybody kidding him today. You a little tired today, Chili? Swinging a foul back for a strike.
Well, this is the same type of game as yesterday.
Yeah.
1-0 here in the bottom of the fifth. 21-1 yesterday, the Yankees winning.
You know, for as many runs as that team scored, it really wasn't that long a game.
I was telling Bob, we were kidding about that. How can a 21-1 game be a short game? It was 3 hours, 3:35, yeah.
That compared to the 4.5 hour game on Friday night. That game that had everything but a rain delay.
A great game on Friday night.
2-1 the count to Chili Davis. 1-0 Yankees. Homer by Derek Jeter off of youngster Bartolo Colon. Up and out of the strike zone for a fastball. Ball 3.
I think what this series has shown for the Cleveland Indians, the New York Yankees scoring 31 runs thus far in 2.5 games. Cleveland's got to go out and get a starting pitcher. Chuck Finley, to me, makes more sense for the Cleveland Indians than any pitcher for any team in baseball.
Because of the Yankees.
Yeah, because of the Yankees, because John Hart is so aggressive, because of the deals they've made in the past 5 years before the trading deadline.
And there's Chuck Finley's best friend to the left. That would be Mark Langston. The problem is, Tim, you look at who the Angels are going to want for Chuck Finley, and I'm not sure the Indians have that kind of trade bait. I really don't.
Yeah, they're going to try to hold him up if they do make the trade.
And there's a walk. Right now, between innings, there's Mike Hargrove and home plate umpire Jim McKean. And we can only guess what they're talking about. Maybe he thinks he's getting squeezed a little and Clemens isn't. I don't know what he's...
Yeah, well, I think that's a very good point. And that, to me, would be, you know, why Roger Clemens and not my guy? Of course, you can't argue balls and strikes. It's an automatic ejection, but you can circumvent that. Hit the periphery.
Ricky Leday up. He's up now, batting .263, 3 homers and 16 RBIs. Fouls back for a strike.
You know what? You earn the right.
Yes.
Like Roger Clemens. You pay your dues. A guy like Roger Clemens is plain and simple. He's going to intimidate the home plate umpire more than Bartolo Colon. And in 10 years, if Bartolo Colon has the type of career that most people think he's going to have,
he'll get the same thing.
He'll get the same thing. That's right. That is the pecking order. Hitters, the same thing. George Brett, ball on the corner, just a wee bit outside. Most hitters, strike 3.
A little bit too inside to Ricky Leday, and it's 2-1. Lincoln Mercury to scoreboard. Boy, Boston, they are sinking like a stone, aren't they? 5-0 Detroit in the 7th inning. Oakland over Kansas City 10-5 in that 5th. Anaheim over Baltimore 7-3. They're in the bottom of the 5th. In that Seattle game, Ken Griffey Jr., homer number 32. A-Rod, number 22. Texas over Tampa Bay. Toronto. Two teams going in opposite directions, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. And those 2 home runs in Seattle, Griffey and Alex Rodriguez. Here it's 1-0 Yankees. Derek Jeter homer. 1-2 the count on Ricky Leday. Chili Davis at first base. Nobody out here. Swing and a miss for strike 3 on Leday.
That gives you an idea of the type of power that Colon can give a good low ball hitter in Ricky Leday. Swinging through the low ball. You know, low fastballs are not pitches designed to swing through. Usually a ball that is swung through is a ball around the letters, from the waist to the middle of the letters. You don't see too many hitters swinging through that low fastball.
That was really riding outside, too.
That ball had some low heat on it.
Jorge Posada up to 228 now, and I say up to 228 because it's remarkable where he's come from. 4 hits yesterday, first 4-hit game of his career. There's a strike by Colon. Jorge has 12 hits in his last 30 at-bats, and that's a .400 average. So it looks like Jorge's starting to come around. And that's why it's baseball. You need patience to get through these things with young players. Torrey telling Jorge this year will just be a little blip in a long career. It's a great split that broke out of the strike zone, 0-2.
Okay, you can see Posada right there. That's the key for not only Posada, but for everybody. This is a good cut. He just comes up empty. But after he stepped out of there, a front shoulder. And that was the impressive thing about the first 2 hits yesterday. They were both up the middle.
Diaz setting up the middle of the plate inside for a ball.
What gets you going, Susan, is not necessarily that you get a couple of hits. It's how you got the couple of hits. And when hitters get those hits up the middle, that more than anything else brings them out of it. More than anything else, because you know your shoulder is in the proper position to handle anything.
The swing and a foul back by Posada. Now, the person who did that better than anybody was Boggs, and we watched him for so long. He could go through a couple of days of not getting a hit, and you'd see those little dribblers over second base, and he'd come in the clubhouse and he'd say, I'm out of it. I mean, even though it looked like nothing, he knew exactly what he was doing because it went directly over the second base bag. 1-2 the count on Posada. 1-0 Yankees as we see Derek Jeter home run in the right field stands. That's the only hit for New York. Roger Clemens has given up 3 hits, but no runs so far, bottom of the 5th. There's that same inside pitch that he's missing with. Now that is a pitch that Jorge will sometimes try and sometimes swing at.
It looked like Colon wanted this pitch. It was relatively close, but it appeared to be inside.
Jorge's taken a lot of strike 3s on that same exact pitch if it's over the edge of the plate. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. That was right over the middle of the plate.
How can a guy strike out and have a good at-bat? That was a good at-bat by Jorge Posada. He had 3 good swings. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap to the guy 60 feet 6 inches away. That front shoulder, you can almost see it with the shadow there. Front shoulder is right in there, and he swings through it. You go back and say, big deal, he got me then.
Set him up beautifully, didn't jump at those pitches inside. How many times have we seen Posada strike out on those same pitches inside? That's up and out of the zone by Brocious.
Yeah, and again, it's how you look doing it. That means you're still locked in. I mean, you could strike out a couple of times in a game. I mean, some of the great power hitters in the game have see them after a game in the statistics: 1 home run, 3 strikeouts.
There's a pop foul. Diaz going back, and he's got no chance at this one. It's back in the stands. Now, Brocious, he's got his average up to 274. He's got 10 runs scored and 7 RBIs on this homestand. So very quietly, Timmy, things are starting to go into place and fall into place for Scott Brocious. Jorge Posada. Look at that homestand. Look at those numbers.
Ricky Leday.
Yep. Colon taking a lot of time here in this inning. Outside and low for a ball. That's 2-1. Colon, like most young pitchers, pitches much better when he can just get the ball and throw it and doesn't have to really think out there and gets a rhythm going.
Rhythm, cadence, very important between a pitcher and a catcher.
It's a foul back by Brocious.
Tina, that's a good cut right there. That can often determine whether a hitter's locked in or not. Difference between fouling a ball back and hitting a ball hard.
Now, Brocious talks a lot about not looking at results. He says, I'd like to get hits, but he always talks about, I know how my bat feels, if my swing feels good, if I get good cuts, if I'm not swinging at bad pitches. It's a good attitude to have, because then you know you're coming out of it, and usually you do, as he has so far. It is only July. 2-2 the count to Brocious. Set up outside, and that's where the ball goes. Now, you would imagine to me that a youngster like Colon would really miss Sandy Alomar Jr. behind the plate to get him through these kinds of innings.
It's very difficult on a young catcher to try to break in. I mean, how do you do it? You have to go back there sometime. There's Sandy. He could come off the disabled list sometime this week, and he will be a valuable guy when he comes back, as he has been.
Well, you could see the difference in this team at the beginning of the year, because Sandy was healthy for the first time in a long time. Davis was going, but there is ball 4 as Brocious walks. They'll bring up Chuck Knobloch, so 2 on, 2 out. In the National League, 4-1 Atlanta over Philly in the 7th inning, and Glavin's pitching a 3-hitter, so I guess he's back. They're gearing up for the right time.
Yeah, Philadelphia spoiling the return of John Smoltz last night as Atlanta lost. The New York Mets only a half game out of first place, and the Phillies only 4.5 back.
And the big discussion in the clubhouse today, that pitch by John Smoltz right down the middle of the plate, and the reaction, and Bobby Cox getting thrown out of the game.
For the 7th time this year.
Well, he's had 2 pitchers that usually get calls that this year have not been getting calls.
That's right. That's right.
That'll bring up Knobloch. He is 0 for 2 today. Takes strike 1. But in that 3rd inning, as some people say, you can only hit it, you can't aim it. And that was a shot that was turned into a double play by second baseman Robbie Alomar. 0-1 the count to Knobloch. There's Alomar. Now, looks like Colon is missing outside that same pitch every single time, Timmy.
Well, he's a high fastball pitcher, and this is a bad era to be a high fastball pitcher, because you're not going to get a lot of high fastballs. Call strikes. Oh, wildness and Colon, as long as he's effective, wildness could be a problem for him. I know that sounds strange. How can you be effective and wild at the same time?
There's a strike, and that's a beauty.
But he's the type of pitcher, it's almost like a young stallion. You don't want to corral too much of that spirit and energy that makes him so effective. You want to leave some of that wildness in there.
That's right. Roger Clemens says one of his best attributes is his wildness within the strike zone. 2 men on, 2 men out here in the bottom of the 5th. 1-0 Yanks. The only hit for the Yankees, a home run by Derek Jeter. Outside and high again. Same pitch, missing with that high fastball every single time in the same place. The difference in this game is that man right there, Derek Jeter. Going the opposite way with a home run into the right field stands, the only hit for the New York Yankees this afternoon. Roger Clemens, no runs, 3 hits so far, 6 strikeouts for Rocket. Colon trying to work out of this jam to get the final out. Has to think about it again. And what exactly does that mean, when he said he's being effective wild within the strike zone?
Well, you can be wild in the strike zone, and it can be very bad. Your pitches are too fat. You find them the fat part of the plate. If Roger Clemens considers it an attribute, then evidently he's wild on the corners.
It's a ground ball. Vizquel, oh, what a play by Vizquel, but everybody's safe. And Knobloch will get a hit on that one. It got by Enrique Wilson. Vizquel had to go almost to the grass, tried to get the runner at second base, but Grotius, very good base running by Scott Grotius right there. Stops it from going into left, tries to get enough on that throw and just can't. Grotius is there. So the bases are loaded with 2 out, and here comes Phil Reagan.
Bill out to talk to Colon. A fine play by Vizquel, but he had to go too far to get the out call.
Of course, no chance at Knobloch, very speedy, but Grotius, who Joe Torre will say is one of the best base runners on this team, knows exactly how far to get off each base and exactly what kind of lead to get.
You're right, he's very, very smart.
And here is the difference in this game so far. At the plate, Derek Jeter. Home run in the right field stands in the 4th inning. The Yankees' only run. 2 out, bases loaded. Bartolo Colon against Derek Jeter. Jeter with his 18th home run this year. And there's a high fly ball, and that one's not going to be deep enough as Kenny Lofton gets underneath it on the warning track. So the Yankees leave the bases loaded. Bartolo Colon gets out of it, and at the end of 5, 1-0 Yanks. And take a look at this fan, everyday fan. I believe they all qualify as the Toyota everyday fan. Look at this little boy. A wonderful afternoon at the ballpark. He's singing along with YMCA.
Lip syncing, I think, right?
This is the great thing about day games, is all these kids. Love to see that. The park is chock full of kids. Top of the 6th inning, 1-0 Yankees. That courtesy of a Derek Jeter home run back in the 4th inning. Roger Clemens on the mound has 6 strikeouts, no runs, 3 hits on the afternoon. Obviously having his best outing as a Yankee, right, Tim?
Even though he's...
And take a look at this fan, everyday fan. I believe they all qualify as the Toyota everyday fan. Look at this little boy. A wonderful afternoon at the ballpark. He's singing along with YMCA.
Lip syncing, I think, right?
This is the great thing about day games, is all these kids. Love to see that. The park is chock full of kids. Top of the 6th inning, 1-0 Yankees. That courtesy of a Derek Jeter home run back in the 4th inning. Roger Clemens on the mound has 6 strikeouts, no runs, 3 hits on the afternoon. Obviously having his best outing as a Yankee, right, Jim?
Even though he shut out the Detroit Tigers, this is the most consistent that he has thrown, most consistently that he's thrown.
That's high for ball 2.
Most power pitchers, 3rd time through the lineup, you can lose a yard off that fastball. Roger Clemens can combat that by throwing more breaking balls this time around. But in order to do that, you have to stay ahead. Lofton going after ball 3 there.
And there was that high fastball that Cologne was throwing and missing with. Clemens got Lofton to swing at it. 2-1 the count to Kenny Lofton. He's 1 for 2. He struck out in the first inning, single to left in the third. That's outside for a ball.
Now Roger straightening up and questioning home plate umpire Jim McKean. That was where was that pitch body language?
And there's a high fastball for ball 4. Now you can see Clemens walking all the way off the mound, halfway to home plate, looking at McKean.
Now Jorge Posada, that's what catchers often become, buffers between their pitcher and the umpire. Mike Hargrove now looking out. Mike realizing the importance of this game. There are, every game's important, of course, 162-game season. But Cleveland does not want to leave here being swept and have the Yankees with any kind of momentum going into Cleveland in mid-August and consequently into postseason play.
There's a bunt foul back, and you saw Mike Hargrove and Roger Clemens on that split screen. 15 years ago, Roger Clemens got his first win against the Indians at Fenway Park, and the first strikeout came with the 5th batter. His name, Mike Hargrove. 15 years, huh?
May 15th, wow. 1984.
Clemens looking back over to Lofton. Vizquel at the plate. He struck out looking in the first inning, grounded to Knobloch in the third. There's Lofton getting a pretty good lead. Now Clemens missing in the same spot again. That's the 3rd ball he's thrown right there. ...101 pitches for Clemens. He says that he is built to throw about 130 pitches, but it's very hot. It's 90 degrees. Now there's a fastball, good part of the plate, and you can see Vizquel very upset with himself for not getting that one.
Very few pitchers in the major leagues now, or really ever, can live in the fat part of the plate. But Roger Clemens can do that. Watch where this fastball is. I thought that ball had more of the plate, but that ball was on the corner. But Roger is one of those pitchers that has enough stuff on his fastball that can throw the ball down the middle of the plate. Doesn't have to go to the corners.
That's why everybody was wondering when Roger was trying to throw splits or sliders over the middle of the plate, why he was doing that.
That slider in particular, I think by abandoning that today, he has not only improved his performance, but improved his confidence as well.
1 on, nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. 1-0 Yanks, and there's a fly in the center field or left field. Leday over, Bernie Williams over, and the catch is made by Ricky Leday. And both of them have the softest voices in the world, so if they're yelling at each other, neither one can probably hear it. But Leday gets that ball. There's Leday going over. Now, he's not saying anything. There he is. Now he's yelling. I got it, I got it, I got it. Meanwhile, Bernie's yelling, I got it, I got it, I got it. Neither one can hear the other, I promise you.
What one of them needs is a whistle on the back of their gloves, like Sammy Sosa.
That brings up Robbie Alomar. Robbie Alomar grounded to Tino Martinez in the first inning, hit by a pitch in the 4th. He has a whistle on his glove?
He has a whistle on the back of his glove. He does.
Wow.
Yeah. He uses it with Lance Johnson in center field with the Chicago Cubs. My understanding is that Lance is tone deaf. He can't hear real well. And Sammy's got a whistle on the back of his glove that he uses often to bring it to. I guess Sammy is the leader in the outfield, and he moves Lance Johnson around by giving him the beat and 3 steps this way.
Wow. What a thing.
He had it at the Met game yesterday. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Very strange.
Alomar batting .320 on the season, 15 homers and 70 RBIs. That's outside for a ball.
You thought I was kidding, right? No, that
no,
was
I've
serious.
heard of guys having whistles, but I thought they wore it around their neck.
No, he has it dangling off the back of his glove.
Wow.
Strange.
That is strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Well, I believe you. I believe you. Foul back. Now that was a fastball. See, that's that pitch that no one's going to hit that. You know, if they get it off the fat part of the bat, it's going out. But usually they don't. So you might as well challenge him and throw it right down the middle. He's not going to hit that.
So Roger Clemens still maintaining his velocity. That's where that radar gun can help you. The maintenance of the velocity in the middle innings on a hot day.
High fastball misses for a ball. 3-2 the count to Alomar. Kenny Lofton at first. Clemens walked him to lead off the inning. Got Vizquel on a fly ball. That was an adventure again in left field for Ricky Leday and Bernie Williams. Mel Stottlemyre watching very closely. He'll give the signs on whether to throw over or not.
Now that's 3-2. Kenny Lofton will be off right here.
There goes Lofton, and it's ball 4 anyway. Mike Hargrove looking on, and here's this big bat of Manny Ramirez, and every time, Tim McCarver, you look at his stats, I think there's a mistake here, because everybody's got 50, 60, 70 RBIs. Manny Ramirez has 101 runs batted in.
He's up to 3 figures as we take a look at the Cleveland Indians. 1-6 over this last week. It has been the week that was. You may remember that TV show. They lost to the Blue Jays on a 9th inning home run. Jared Wright placed on the DL on Thursday.
There's a grounder past Derek Jeter into left field. Leday up with it, has no shot at the speedy Lofton, and the game is tied. Ramirez going after the first pitch from Clemens, just turns on it and grounds it past Derek Jeter, who is playing to the second base side of that infield. So we're all tied up at 1 as Ramirez comes through for the Indians.
This is a fastball on the middle of the plate. And Manny Ramirez drives in run number 102. And now Roger Clemens, and that's what Derek Jeter is out to talk to Roger about. He's going to have to watch Alomar at second base. It's 1 out, a good time to try to steal third base. And if you're the runner on at first, and look, Jeter's going to talk to Knobloch right now. So somebody's got to keep Alomar close at second base, and with Tomey up, it's going to be Jeter. But if you're the runner on at first base, or the trail runner, you are not compelled to run if Alomar tries to steal third base.
Tomey 1 for 2 in the afternoon, double to left field in the 4th, and a call strikeout in the 2nd inning. First and second, 1 out here, as Cleveland has tied the game off of Roger Clemens. Derek Jeter standing almost directly in back of Robbie Alomar, missing outside for a ball.
You can afford to do that, Susan, because with the left-handed hitter Tomey up there, 3rd time again through the order, he is apt to pull the ball.
Tomey also very good with runners in scoring position, batting .329 with runners in scoring position. There's a strike down the middle of the plate. Alomar at second, Ramirez at first. Ramirez just hitting the first pitch from Roger Clemens into left field. Grounder past Jeter, in between Brocious and Jeter. Clemens looking at Alomar. Jimmy was saying, watch Robbie Alomar. Jeter very concerned about him, playing almost in back of him. Brocious off the bag towards second base. Foul back, outside part of the plate. Clemens gets ahead of Tomey. It's 1-2. Tomei hitting .281, 15 homers, 56 RBIs. He's the club leader on this team. As we said, batting .329 with runners in scoring position with 4 homers and 40 RBIs. Foul back once again.
You know, the thing about Jim Tomei that makes him so tough with 2 strikes is he's a slugger, but he doesn't swing at a lot of bad balls with 2 strikes. For the type of hitter that he is, you rarely see him on a check swing. Ball in the dirt. He's got enough power to hold the bat back and not go through the strike zone. That is very unusual for a hitter with his strength.
More surprising to see that kind of a compact swing on a slugger.
Yeah.
1-2 the count to Tomei. First and second, 1 out here. Oh. I guess that was low.
Talking about body language, we saw Roger Clemens straighten up earlier this inning, and Roger wanted that pitch. A little gamesmanship going on from Mike Hargrove, we assume, and Roger Clemens.
And you see Clemens trying to pull himself together, walked to the back of the mound, picked up some dirt, obviously thought he had strike 3 right there on Tomei. Instead, it's a ball. There's a grounded and knob block. Over to second for 1. Back to Martinez for a double play. And he's out of the inning. So 1 run for Cleveland. 1 hit. Double play to end the inning. Nice play by Knobloch and Jeter. All tied up at 1, and we go to the top of the 7th. Tied up here, 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Catch John Rowland, Rosanna Scotto, Nick Gregory with weather, and Kurt Menefee on sports. New York's #1 primetime news team on the Fox 5 10 o'clock news, weeknights at 10. Bottom of the 6th inning, I was jumping ahead a little bit. I was done. I thought I was leaving. Go get the traffic on the bridge. We're all tied up at 1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez in the bottom of the 6th. We're all tied up at 1. 1 run, 4 hits for the Indians. 1 run, 2 hits for the Yankees. Bartolo Colon on the mound, and he misses outside with a ball. Colon settled down here, struck out 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Did walk 2. Give up an infield hit. And there's a shot back up the middle by Paul O'Neill. And that's what you're talking about, is great bat placement. Just get it there and get it right into center field.
Talking about placement, Chuck Knobloch flat-footed, shuffling that ball off to Derek Jeter. Watch Manny Ramirez, the right foot of Manny Ramirez, and what he tries to do to Derek Jeter and taking him out. Tries to clip that left leg right out from under him. But Derek, with that athletic agility, hurdling over, and Roger Clemens approves. Don't you, Roger? That number's working for him today, by the way.
Yeah. Another pretty good pitcher had that not too many years ago. Mr. Key. Jimmy Key, so successful here as a Yankee. I don't think anyone will forget that last game of the World Series in '96. So O'Neill on at first. I didn't notice that the first time through Ramirez in that way. Jeter's pretty agile.
Yeah, I think what happens is this game's taken on kind of a turn that you expect to see against these two teams. Ramirez knocked down by Roger Clemens, or knocked back off the plate earlier. Often players, when they get on the bases, they'll try to make somebody else pay. That was not your normal takeout slide by Manny Ramirez and Derek Jeter there.
Looking at Paul O'Neill, singled back up the middle here to start off the inning. There's Manny in right field. Throw over. Ramirez now to the point, Himmy, where he actually kind of laughs at himself in his fielding gaffes, because there's been many, as he stands out in right field here. Diaz setting up outside, and that's where the pitch is. Perfect strike from Cologne.
Diaz sets up on the outside corner, and again, that front corner. Boy, they have made some pitches today.
Bernie batting .335, 15 homers, 62 RBIs so far this season. There's a swing and a foul back. Bernie wanted that one right down the middle of the plate. Bernie walked in the second inning, struck out looking in that fourth. He steps in here, full house on a beautiful day. We've had 3 magnificent crowds here at Yankee Stadium over the weekend. Great weekend for baseball in the city. O'Neill with a short lead, and there's low in the dirt for a ball, 2-2.
Susan, something to pick up here. You see Omar Vizquel about right there. You see Alomar there. All right, we'll redo that. There and there. How many times in a double play situation do you see shortstops and second basemen that far away from second base? Most guys would be cheating toward the middle, pinching the middle.
There's a high pop-up that should reach the stands.
The reason that Vizquel and Alomar don't have to get closer to second base is because their instincts are superb and their speed is superb. So think about what that does to a pitcher. It doesn't open up the holes on the left side. It doesn't open up the holes on the right side. And normally somebody's got to cheat towards second base to be able to get there on a double play ball.
And
but
as you're
not those
looking
two.
at them all season, they're getting to know each other more and more.
Right, right. Extraordinary double play combination.
Bernie backs out. O'Neill still at first base. That's why it surprises me. I know that Vizquel wants a contract renegotiation and extension. The idea that they're going to let him walk at the end of the season and put
I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, they might, but he's the most important defensive player on their club.
There goes O'Neill. There's a throw to Alomar, and he got him. And O'Neill is furious, and Torrey's coming out of the dugout. It looks like O'Neill thought he got underneath it, but he was definitely called out.
Joe Torre will argue with second base umpire Bill Welke. It looked like O'Neill beat the play, but credit the quick tag from Roberto Alomar. It was a very, very quick tag.
O'Neill took his helmet, threw it straight down in the dirt. He was sure he got underneath the tag.
Looked like Alomar came down on the top of his right foot. Joe Torre out not only to argue the play, but to protect O'Neill. Watch the tag. Oh, not even close. He's safe.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that really was not close. But Alomar's quick tag made it close.
Now, let me ask you a question. Look where Welke was. Welke's directly in back of Alomar. Does it look like he tagged him? His foot's obviously there.
Yeah, that heel of the foot was there.
In front of Alomar.
Yeah, he was in front. Yeah, he was safe.
Well, then there's no excuse for that.
No, well, missed the call. I mean,
he missed the call.
No, you don't miss a call every now and then. The call didn't go the Yankees' way.
It's Bill Welke, brother of Tim Welke. Meanwhile, count still 3-2 on Bernie Williams. Now there's 1 out. The base is empty. We're all tied up at 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. There's a swing and a foul back.
Watch this, the defense of Alomar. He's actually in the same place right now as far as his distance between first and second as he was in the double play combination. But with nobody on, he just takes 3 steps back. He's deeper now. Talk about a guy who's the game. He sees things most people don't.
There's a fly ball into right field. Alomar coming out. Ramirez calling him off, and Ramirez makes the call. But Alomar was there because you could see him making the call. You know, Alomar talking to Ramirez.
The first baseman,
Covers a lot of ground.
Well, Bobby and I were saying the other night that, you know, there's some athletes where the game slows down for them. Wayne Gretzky, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. Most mortals have to play the game differently.
Tino Martinez now up with 2 outs. He is 0 for 2 on the afternoon, now batting .272, 14 homers, 60 RBIs. He got a shot of Robbie Alomar. Very comfortable here on this Cleveland team. You can see the relationship between Vizquel and Alomar. Any of the things that you ever heard about Robbie Alomar, about maybe not playing hard some games, as long as Big Brother is here, that's never going to happen.
Well, Big Brother here, and still remembering a guy with the Baltimore Orioles organization, Cal Ripken Sr., that number 7 on his cap is he's worn it all year, or the father of Cal Ripken Jr., who passed away this spring.
Two balls on Martinez here. 2 out, and there's a foul back. Fastball, high fastball that Tino swung and hit straight back. 2-1 the count. 2 men out here. We're in the bottom of the 6th and all tied up at 1. Solo homer by Derek Jeter, his 18th of the year in the bottom of the 4th, and then Cleveland tied it in the top of the 6th. An RBI single into left by Manny Ramirez, after Clemens had walked Lofton and Alomar. Lofton scoring on that first pitch single. There's a long fly ball to center field. Lofton going back, and he jumps and he gets it. Ball looked like it was carrying further than it actually did, as the wind is blowing things back in. So as we go to the top of the 7th, Bobby Mercer will be back. We're all tied up at 1. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Suze. Ball game here in the top of 7th. Bobby Mercer back in, and Bobby, about the way we looked at this game with a good pitching matchup this afternoon.
Remember what we were doing last Sunday about this time?
Sure do. Sure do.
Well, it's almost the same, but not quite the same. But the good thing about it is Roger Clemens, true to form for what Alomar told us before today's ball game, established that fastball and then use the other stuff to complement it.
Roger being matched almost pitch for pitch by Bartolo Colon. 4 hits for the Indians, 3 for the Yankees. And Jacob Cruz, the left fielder, leads it off here in the top of the 7th. Roger was ready to pitch, and then the home plate umpire, Jim McKean, said something to Jorge Posada, and Posada went out to talk to Clemens. What's that all about?
Well,
we've had a lot of strange conferences in this game.
And body language tells you a lot. I heard you and Susan talking about the body language of Roger Clemens. He has been disappointed in some of the calls that he had not been getting on the outside part of the plate.
Fastball is high to Jacob Cruz. Jacob 0 for 2. He was struck out and flied to left. There's a strike on the corner, 1-1. Everybody knows about the New York Yankees maximizing the trade of Scott Brocious for Kenny Rogers. Well, the Cleveland Indians maximize their trades, it seems, also. Jacob Cruz coming over with Steve Reed last July 23rd, almost a year to the day, for Jose Mesa, Alvin Moorman, and Sean Dunston. None of those three players are with the Giants anymore, and yet Cruz and Reed are still with the Indians.
And Reed, a very much big part of that bullpen out there. He's what you call a rubber arm, and he can throw a lot of innings, and certainly gives right-handers a tremendous amount of trouble because he's a Jeff Nelson type of delivery towards home plate.
Then in the last 2 ball games, it's 2-2 to Cruz, and the fastball is high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Stanton and Ramiro Mendoza up and throwing for the Yankees. Roger Clemens has thrown 121 pitches in this game. Hit hard by Jeter. Derek did not miss catching that ball by much, but a leadoff single by Jacob Cruz here in the 7th inning.
Well, we've seen some outfielders have problems picking the ball up right off the bat. I think that's what happened to Derek Jeter. He didn't react immediately when the ball was hit to him, and if he had of, I think that would have been an easy play for Jeter. He hesitated about a half a second to a second before he started moving to the left. So obviously, with this bright, sunshiny day, he had a little bit of a problem picking the ball up off the bat.
That breeze has moved in from the west. It blew a lot of the bad air out of the New York area. It's a gorgeous day, but the glare causing problems. Ricky Leday has had problems in left field. And perhaps Derek Jeter on that line drive. Here's Russ Branyan. Mighty cut, and he fouls it back. 0-1 to the 23-year-old Branyan.
I noticed Branyan in his last trip to the plate, he struck out 2 times against Clemens, but he was swinging at pitches that he shouldn't be swinging at in the first place. I'm talking about pitches way up out of the strike zone. Not even the greatest hitter in baseball could get on top of some of those pitches. He's just not, he's not seasoned enough. I wouldn't expect him to be that seasoned, but he needs to learn more about the strike zone, about himself, and what pitches he can hit and what pitches he can't hit. It's can versus can't, and he needs to learn how to do that.
There's a breaking ball in the outside part. Willie Shakes put it best. To thine own self be true.
Well, right now, this is the paint the corner on the outside part on Clemens. And once again, Clemens way out in front of Branyan now. He'll just have to try to protect the plate.
0-2 to Russ Branyan. And the splitter outside, 1-2.
If I was Roger, I'd go way upstairs again on Russ Branyan. He is one of those hitters that I've seen so far. We've only seen this is the 3rd time we've seen him. But he swings at a lot of pitches way out of the strike zone. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go way upstairs on him.
He has struck out on 2 letter-high fastballs this afternoon. Ground ball towards second. Knobloch to Jeter for the force out. You can tell the high pitch in my voice, and the reason for that was Chuck Knobloch threw a little floater over there, a little butterfly, 1 out.
Well, the only really play that he had was to try to cut that runner off and force him at second, but not in position where he could get the arm angle, and you can see him twisting. But watch the feet. They're not in position to actually make that pivot and get a good, nice throw out of his arm to second base that Jeter's covering, and it almost slipped away from him.
That's an interesting point, Bobby, because usually instead of having your feet closed with second baseman going to shortstop, it's almost like he opens it up to be in a position to throw the ball. Chopper back to Clemens. Roger goes to first base on the little never by Enrique Wilson, and that'll bring up the catcher, Einar Diaz.
The catcher, Einar Diaz.
Well, we talked about Knobloch and sometimes having a lot of problems with routine plays. This is basically a routine play because his only play is to force the runner at second base. And Nobby has been freezing up a bit. And this is basically what he did right there. He just kind of froze and didn't get himself into a proper position to throw the ball back to Jeter.
Instead of having that right foot back about 6 inches when you catch the ball, I think perhaps the runner hurtling over there, Cruz hurtling over the ball, perhaps confused Chuck a little bit. Nonetheless, there are 2 outs, And the Indians with Russ Branyan on at second. And Diaz, who's 1 for 2, takes ball 1 from Roger Clemens. If Roger gets out of this inning, in all likelihood, this will be his last inning. 1 ball, no strikes to Diaz. Outside, ball 2, 2-0.
Remember yesterday we got a shot of Rogers sitting on the Yankee bench when it was 20-0, I think, at that time. And one of us, I forget who it was, made the comment that Rogers probably thinking, you know, Hideki's got all the runs, so maybe they'll want to just save half of those for me today.
Just a couple more.
How about just 1?
Yeah, 1. Ball 3 to Diaz. 3-0 to Einar Diaz, the catcher. Joe Torre going to the good book. Ball 4. That might have been a pitch count that Joe went to. Remember, he's got the left-hander Stanton warming up, and when Joe runs out to the mound, he's going to give the pitcher the option. What do you think? How do you feel, or what have you? If Joe walks out there, then he's going to make a move.
Well, already a couple of times this year he has let Roger Clemens give him an option of what he would want to do, and he said, you know, Joe afterward, because they were asking him about that, and Joe said, look, when you win 5 Cy Youngs and you've done the things that Roger Clemens has done, sometimes they have a good feel too of what they want to do and how they want to do it. And he said, how can I go against that?
He's earned the
He's
right.
earned the right.
That's exactly right. Joe, it appears.
Nice call, though, when you said run out there.
Well, you know, you just, you know, you start learning.
Roomy.
Yeah, I know Joe's body language pretty well. But running out there, Joe usually walking out there, and I think he would have made the move to Stanton, but he asked Roger. He still had it. Roger said yes, and here's Kenny Lofton. 2 on, 2 out, ball 1 to Lofton. There's a strike, 1-1.
You know, something very interesting, and of course, it pretty much tells a story about Cleveland in this series against the Yankees. Batting only 192 with runners in scoring position. 5 for 26 is all they are, and they were up way over 300 prior to coming into this series.
Well, lower that remark, or that mark. Bernie Williams and now Leday collide. Oh boy. It was Bernie who made the play. A deep breath by Joe Torre. Bernie makes the 3rd out here in the 7th, still 1-1.
Back to stadium still tied up at 1, but on that last play, we'll take a look at the Honda game summary in the 7th inning. Derek Jeter led off the 4th inning with a home run, number 18. And that was the way the Yankees took the lead. But here, Manny Ramirez knocking in Lofton, and that's where we're at right now, 1-1. Take it, partner.
Hey, Chili Davis leads it off here in the bottom of the 7th. A good ball game. Completely different game from yesterday, of course, as we look at our Honda game summary. Much shorter than yesterday. Today's a paragraph. Yesterday was an encyclopedia. 0-1 to Chile. Ball 1 from Cologne. Two balls and a strike to Chili Davis. How good a hitter has Chili Davis been? How many hits does he have? Well, on Friday night, with that 10th inning hit, you may remember the pinch runner scoring, Ricky Leday scoring the tying run. He went ahead of Joe Torre for 100th place in Major League history. Outside to Chili, 3 balls and 1 strike. Just think to be in the top 100 guys in hits. Because the Major League, there have been a lot of players, thousands upon thousands of guys, and Chile in the top 100 now.
And Chile just below Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray as the top third place in all-time history as a switch hitter in home runs. Well, he just brings a lot of experience. A lot of the hitters will come to Chile. A lot of the young hitters will come to Chile, especially Jorge Posada, and talk to him about hitting. He's almost a hitting, well, he isn't a hitting instructor within himself. Not to take anything away from Chris Chambliss, obviously.
Even Chambliss will say that. Well, the Yankees have had problems in left field today. Ricky Leday. And here's the play right here. Bernie Williams going over. I got it. Well, he did get it. But had a minor collision. That's the second time this afternoon that they have collided. Joe Torre trying to straighten that out. Now Paul O'Neill joining in.
Well, I think what Joe Torre is telling Ricky Leday, he's been a little shaky in the outfield. Joe's a little mystified by that, but he's telling him, say, look, the center fielder is the captain out there. When he is calling you off the ball, you got to get out of the way. But I think since Leday lost the ball in the first inning, or the second inning in the sun, he's been a little bit, he's just been a little bit, a little skittish on fly balls, and he's staying with them a little bit too long. But you can see Bernie calling all the way.
There is a pinch runner for Chili Davis in this low-scoring game. It's 1-1, seventh inning. Nobody out. Chad Curtis pinch running for Chili Davis. Leday's bunt went foul, so 0-1 to Ricky Leday. You may remember in David Cohn's outing last Sunday, historical perfect game on the 26th out. What would have been routine was not for Ricky Leday when he made the catch. Squared to bunt again, and it's strike two.
Well, if you're bunting, you might as well go ahead and square properly without having to. You got a guy that's very difficult to bunt against, and Leday didn't get himself set properly. In fact, he got the bat. The pitch is outside. Obviously, Colon is throwing the ball away from him because Leday's trying to bunt the ball towards the first baseline. That would be his purpose. He just never got himself squared up properly.
When you try to bunt from the hitting position, Bobby, you can't reach the outside pitch. When you square around, you can. You have plate coverage. And Ricky Leday strikes out.
It's always mystified me, Tim, why when in a bunting situation, everybody knows you're bunting in the first place. And if you're bunting towards first base, the guy at first base has got to be holding the runner on in the first place. So you might as well get yourself in position to make that bunt.
Here's that second pitch when Ricky tried to bunt.
You can see he's not squared around to bunt. He's got his legs, they're stiff, and they're in the hitting position and not in the bunting position. And he was bunting all the way. I mean, that was his purpose to do that with one strike on it.
There are, however, advocates of bunting from the hitting position. I never concurred with that. I think the proper way to bunt is to square around because of that pitch that Ricky Leday took. Here's Posada. And the fastball is low, ball one.
You know, if you're bunting for a base hit or you're trying to lay one down the third baseline, it's best to stay in that position and then move at the same time that you're bunting and the pitch is coming in. But when you're sacrificing, I go along with you. That back foot's got to come forward and you got to square yourself to bunt.
One ball to Posada, one out. Curtis on at first. The 1-1 game here in the seventh. Ball two to Jorge Posada. Bartolo Colon has struck out 5, and he has walked 5. So he has thrown a lot of pitches. We mentioned even though Posada struck out his last time up, he had a good at bat off Colon, third time through the order. We'll see if Colon has maintained his fastball here. On the corner. Tough pitch there, 2-1.
And he's been utilizing that pitch. You brought it up many times. Using that outside part, but using the front part of the plate for the strike and let the ball run away. Using that right there, the strike where it's just touching it and the ball just runs away from the left-handed batter. He's used that very effective today.
Catcher catches it off the plate 3 or 4 inches, and it just nips that front part of the plate. Breaking ball is outside. 3-1 to Posada. Colon will throw the fastball here, but he'll try to throw it away. If you're the hitter and he has too much of the plate, then you go to hacking.
Love the word hack.
Hack here, but it's got to be your pitch.
Got to be your hack.
Your hack. Watch Diaz set up outside. Fastball is low, so Colon misses away. That's walk number 6 on the afternoon. Given up by Colon. So the Yankees threatening. Runners on at first and second, 1 out. Ricardo Rincon is up and throwing. And Phil Regan, the pitching coach, is out to talk to Colon. Obviously, with 3 right-handers coming up, you're not going to see Rincon right now. But if the inning gets to Paul O'Neill, you will. And if it does, that'll mean the Yankees have scored at least 1 run.
Most of the time, these types of conversations with the pitcher, the catcher, and the pitching coach out there is just to remind Bartolo Colon about what the situation is, who the hitter is, and to give him a breather after he's walked 2 out of 3 in this inning, just to kind of try to break the momentum up so he can get himself back on track. This is how Roger Clemens got himself into trouble. When the Indians scored a run off of him, he walked 2 in the 6th inning. They finally got a base hit.
Yeah, the bottom of the 7th mirrors the top of the 7th. Both pitchers having similar problems with 2 walks. Runners on at first and second. Clemens pitched out of it. And here's Brocious. Scott has walked once, fly to right. Towards second, could be 2. Alomar steps on the bag and back to first. So just like Roger Clemens, Bartolo Colon pitches out of problems in the bottom of the 7th, aided by the double play from Alomar. Still 1-1. Clemens out, and Mike Stanton in with a game tied 1-1 in the 8th inning. And folks, the Toronto Blue Jays are beating the Chicago White Sox 6-1 in the 8th inning. And the red-hot Blue Jays, you assume they'll be hot when they come here to Yankee Stadium for 2 night games, Monday and Tuesday, August 2nd and 3rd. And then on Wednesday, an afternoon game. We'll be carrying that game before the Yankees go to Seattle and Oakland. Fans 14 and under will receive a Yankees t-shirt courtesy of Hip Health Plans. Tickets available at ticket windows here at the stadium. Ticketmaster 212-307-1212 or www.yankees.com.
Well, I thought an interesting quote by Gord Ash, who's the general manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, in the paper this morning, saying that they were asking him, now that they've pulled within Boston in second place in this American League East, what about the wild card race? And he said, well, I'll tell you, that's fine and dandy, but actually we have our sights set on the New York Yankees. That would be our goal. If we end up with a wild card, that's fine, but our sights are for the American League East.
The Toronto Blue Jays currently are 8 games over 500, and once again they are beating the White Sox 6-1 in the 8th inning. The Red Sox and the Blue Jays, for the most part, tied for second place. The Red Sox are 1 percentage point ahead of them, but the Red Sox are losing today. Toronto winning 6-1. Here's Omar Vizquel batting right-handed, of course, against Mike Stanton. A 1-1 game, top of the 8th. And a curveball is high, ball 1.
Well, the Indians have a couple of switch hitters coming up behind Vizquel as Alomar, and then Manny Ramirez, the right-hander. The only real true left-hander would be Jim Thome if they get that far.
Joe Torre turning the two switch hitters around. Vizquel 0 for 3 against Roger Clemens. Roger throwing 134 pitches, giving up 5 hits. And that's ball 3 to Vizquel. I think this was Roger's best outing as a Yankee. I know he shut out the Detroit Tigers, but keep in mind the Cleveland Indians, one of the toughest lineups in baseball, as Stanton comes in and throws 4 straight balls to Vizquel, and Vizquel walks to lead off the 8th inning.
Well, that's going to bring us Stottlemyre out to talk to Mike Stanton. There could be something that Stottlemyre would want to talk to Stanton about. Ramiro Mendoza still throwing in the Yankee bullpen, but after only one batter, Stottlemyre must see something or want to have a little conference with Stanton. He's not happy with himself, obviously, walking the first batter that he faces here in the 8th with a tie score.
So Mike Stanton in there. Roger Clemens destined for the Hall of Fame. Today is Hall of Fame day. And why don't we just look at some of the great accomplishments of a Hall of Famer, Nolan Ryan. Man.
That's the Boog Powell.
5,714 strikeouts. We mentioned yesterday 324 lifetime wins, 12 one-hitters, 7 no-hitters. Far and away the most, as Alomar wants to bunt, but 5 straight balls thrown by Mike Stanton. We mentioned yesterday that after the age of 35, Nolan Ryan struck out more than Sandy Koufax, Juan Marichal, Lefty Grove, Jim Palmer, and Grover Cleveland Alexander. And this is ball 6 as far as Stanton is concerned, 2-0 to Alomar.
Alomar will make Stanton throw a strike.
Alomar, one of the best bunters in baseball, but he's not going to bunt 2-0 until he throws a strike. Well, he did. I think the Yankees have to love that.
I guess so.
I thought he would take a strike and then bunt on the 2-1 count.
Yeah, I mean, because Ramirez now, they, you know, what will they do with Manny Ramirez with Jim Thome?
Walking.
Either that or they'll bring in Ramiro Mendoza to face Ramirez, unlikely with Thome hitting behind him. So, yeah, I agree with you. A 2-0 pitch, and he hasn't thrown a strike yet. You got to make him throw at least 1 strike, especially when you're the type of bunter that Alomar is.
Absolutely.
One of the best bunters in baseball.
So now it's pretty simple. Ramirez will be walked, and Stanton will pitch to Thome. Mike Stanton came in the game. He threw 6 straight balls. And then Alomar bunting the 2-0 pitch. But I think that's the key. If you're a struggling bunter, if you're not a very good bunter, sure, then you go at the 2-0 pitch. But with Alomar, that pitch looked like a strike, but with Stanton having problems, I mean, I think you do the Yankees a favor by bunting 2-0.
Well, you just take a guy with 102 RBIs out of an RBI situation by doing that. It's one thing if the count is 1-1 or, you know, 1-2 or you know, whatever it is, other than 2-0, not throwing a strike yet. Nevertheless, this could work out perfect for the Yankees. Certainly, Joe Torre had the matchup that he would want in this situation.
Sure. That's why Stanton's in the game. Jim Thome 1 for 3. He did double against Roger Clemens. Tie ball game here in the top of the 8th inning. Curveball and a beauty. 0-1 to Thome.
Vizquel with 22 stolen bases. They will have to pay attention to him at second base. He will go.
Foul back. Good pitch to hit. Thome fouls it away. 0-2 to Jim.
Well, Mike Stanton has had one of the better curveballs that I've seen him throw in his career this year. Really breaking off what you and I consider as a yacker. A hacker for a hitter, a yacker for a pitcher. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't try one of those right here, 0-2.
Looked like a slider cued down the third baseline foul. Still 0-2 to Jim Thome, a .227 hitter against left-handers this year. And Jim going back for more lumber, broke his bat. Yankees took the lead on a Derek Jeter home run in the fourth inning. Derek's 18th home run of the year. And Cleveland United. RBI single by Manny Ramirez, his 102nd RBI of the year. Kenny Lofton scored. It's 1-1.
Jose Cardinal always positioning or trying to position the outfielders. Always on the lookout for somebody maybe being out of position, depending on what count it could be. It's 0-2 now on Thome.
Fastball fouled away.
You know, coaches, they're not just there to show up and pitch batting practice and hit ground balls. When the game starts, each coach has a purpose. And Jose Cardinal works with the outfielders to make sure that they are positioned properly. Willie Randolph on the infield. Chris Chambliss, of course, always watching his hitters and talking to them after each at bat if he needs to.
Curveball fouled away. Thome just with the piece of it, still 0-2.
Bench coach Don Zimmer, he always in conversation with Joe Torre about situations and things like that. That's the curveball we were talking about. And you can see the Thome pulling off of it just a little bit and not be able to get a very good swing on it.
Another curve, got it. 2 out.
Well, with that strikeout there, that will force Mike Hargrove to go to his bench now with the left-hander Jacob Cruz coming up. We talked about the Yanker. Well, this is it right here. And it's a good one by Mike Stanton.
So Richie Sexton will be the pinch hitter, and here comes Joe Torre. So Joe Torre got the matchup he wanted after the leadoff walk to Omar Vizquel.
Boy, it didn't look good. Omar was walked, and he had a 2-0 count on Alomar with Ramirez coming up and also followed by Thome. But right now it has worked out all right because he, like you said, he got the matchup that he wants. He's going to get the matchup that he wants here with Sexton.
By bringing in Ramiro Mendoza. So Stanton out, Mendoza in, still 1-1.
To be the best takes strength, speed, endurance. Now the best way to cure athlete's foot has it all.
It's 1-1 here in the 8th inning. Only 8 hits, so not a lot of knocking going on today. But this fall, look who's knocking at your doorstep. It's Drew Carey. Don't miss the last with Drew and the crew all week long. This fall only on Fox 5.
She was doing
Bobby, this is such an interesting inning or so. We were talking while we were away about, if you're going to have, once the count goes 2-0 to Roberto Alomar, why even have him bunting to begin with? And I know you fans may say, well, Joe Torre bunted with Ricky Leday. But Joe Torre bunted with Ricky Leday because the bottom of the order was coming up, and Ricky Leday's batting .266. Roberto Alomar batting .321 coming into the game. He has 70 RBIs, so you take the bat out of his hand, knowing that Ramirez is going to be walked, and knowing that your matchup is Jim Thome against Stanton.
Yeah, and now you get the matchup here that if you look at stats, you got Mendoza, you got the right-hander against the right-handed batter. Sexton only batting .228 versus right-handers this year. He plays mostly against left-handers, and only .233 with the runners in scoring position.
So Jim Thome batting .227 against lefties. Sexton with .228 against right-handers. So after the leadoff walk, Torre has his matchup. Strike one to Sexton.
And believe me, with those little books that you're looking at, the good book that you referred to a while ago, they have those stats in there.
Oh, yeah. A 1-1 ball game. Hit hard, Jeter to Knobloch, and the Yankees are out of it here in the 8th inning. Still tied at 1. We'll be back.
No matter where your vacation plans take you this season, there's no better place to start than at the Jeep Grand Cherokee Summer of Fun event. Now you can head for the sun with a zero-down, $369 a month Grand Cherokee Laredo lease with only 8.
On a clear day, you can see forever. Rise and look around you. That's what the Yankees have done, and that's what Orlando Cepeda did during his career. The baby bull was San Francisco. Hard to steal the thunder from Willie Mays and Willie McCovey, but that's what Orlando Cepeda did as a left fielder and later as a first baseman. Susan and I were talking about it earlier. The MVP of St. Louis Cardinals in 1967, a great teammate, and we are all happy for Orlando Cepeda, or at least I am. I think most everybody is after the problems.
One of the nicest guys
he's
ever
super
want to
guy.
meet.
Yeah, all the problems, the self problems. I mean, he had problems himself, and he admitted that he had nobody to blame but himself. 25 years ago, in Puerto Rico with a drug problem, served 9 months in jail, a halfway house in Philadelphia, back on his feet in fine fashion, and today going into the Hall of Fame. Chuck Knobloch takes a strike from Bartolo Colon, and that one's outside, 1-1. Richie Sexton, the new left fielder. Richie pinch hitting for Jacob Cruz and grounding hard to Derek Jeter.
I think he's going to be a heck of a player before this is over with, especially before his career's over with. He swings the bat. 6'7". He's got plenty of reach. He's got lots of cover as far as the strike zone is concerned.
16 home runs this year and not a lot of at-bats.
Bit of an adjustment for him because he's sort of young on the scene and having to play as a part-time player. It takes a veteran guy, a long time to adjust to that type of role. You can imagine what it takes for a younger player.
Ball and 2 strikes to Chuck Knobloch. 1-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Ramirez, a nice play, and Chuck stops at first. So a leadoff single by Chuck Knobloch opens the Yankees 8. And now what do you do with Derek Jeter?
Well, we saw what Hargrove did with Roberto Alomar, his third place hitter. Knobloch gets it started for the Yankees in the proper inning with this score tied. What a nice swing by Knobloch. Now that in the first 2 or 3 or 4 innings before he got up above that 100 pitch count, that ball is kind of slowed down a bit, though Knobloch able to get on top of it and lines a nice single into right field. Well, we saw Jeter a couple of days ago lay down a sacrifice bunt.
And Mike Hargrove telling Enrique Wilson, the third baseman, be alive for the bunt. He was talking about the bunt for the base hit, it looked like. A lot of things Joe Torre could do here. Ground ball, base hit up the middle. Knobloch stops at second base. So Torre, playing it straight up, allows Jeter to swing away. Second hit for Derek Jeter. Knobloch stops at second. First and second, and nobody out here in the 8th inning.
Colon, a tough guy to bunt on. Derek Jeter leading the American League in hitting. And Joe Torre lets him swing away, and that's going to be all for Colon. That'll bring Hargrove out and at least give your guy one chance to hit. And Jeter delivers a shot past the guy that's won 6 Gold Glove. And now the Yankees really have something going on with nobody out, 2 men on here in the 8th.
That makes a lot of sense, Bobby, because if he fouls the ball off, then going to the bunt would be prudent.
Cleveland, you catch him by surprise. And Derek Jeter singles. So we'll see what happens. Pitching change here in the 8th. Ricardo Rincon in for the Indians. 1-1 ball game with the Yankees. Knobloch on at second. Jeter on at first. And nobody out. Let's take a look at our upcoming TV schedule. After an off day tomorrow, the Yankees go to the Windy City, play 2 night games in Chicago on Tuesday and Wednesday. Both those games on MSG. And we'll have that game at 2 o'clock New York time on Thursday. And then travel to the Hub up in Boston and Fenway Park on Friday night, 7 o'clock, right here on Fox 5. Then a network game on Saturday. And then ESPN on Sunday evening.
Well, Bartolo Colon not happy, but he pitched well this afternoon. He gave his ball club a chance to win.
Sure did.
And this is the 3rd time in his last 3 outings that he's pitched into the 8th inning, but he'll have to give way to Ricardo Rincon. And he will be facing Paul O'Neill. This is what a bunting situation looks like. Bottom of the 8th inning, all tied up. But let us bring you up to date on Paul O'Neill and his sacrifice bunts. The last time Paul O'Neill sacrificed was in 1992. So he hasn't had a whole lot of practice, and I would look for a sacrifice bunt. That's in August of 1992.
So it's been 7 years since his last sacrifice bunt, with Knobloch on at second, Jeter on at first. The Indians appear to be looking for the bunt.
That was I was going to bring that point up. I guess they don't know what that stat is unless Paul is going to do it for the first time since 1992.
Here we go. Trying to get O'Neill to commit. That was one of those fake wheel plays where Vizquel breaks toward third, Wilson toward home, Thome toward home, and then Rincon steps off and throws to second or holds the ball. Now what are they going to do? Now he's pushing. I think the Indians got wind of it, done their homework. They'll know that about O'Neill. So now Thome is pushed back behind the runner. Lots happened and no pitch has been thrown by Rincon. Not bunting, and the fastball is outside, ball 1. Yesterday, no strategy. None. 0. 21-1 Yankees. Only strategy was hit away. Today, all sorts of strategy for both sides.
And every pitch, Wilson gets a sign from the bench, and he's the guy at third base that puts the signs on if they're going to do a wheel play, if they're going to do whatever they're going to do out there. And he has to relay it each and every pitch.
Tap toward third, and it's foul. Almost a
Wouldn't that have
swinging
been something?
After all is said and done, O'Neill almost did what he can't do. Can't bunt, swing and bunt.
Absolutely. It almost turned out to be a perfect swinging bunt. Off the end of the bat, that's about the only way you can do it.
It is so funny watching Enrique Wilson out there giving signs, and now the whole infield comes in. You know they don't know that O'Neill hasn't bunted in 7 years.
And they may not know the signs either from
well,
Wilson.
that's true, too. Oh, boy, this is funny.
You would think two guys that in the middle there, they've got 13 gold gloves between them, and Wilson's the guy that's giving the signs.
1-1 to O'Neill. Nobody out, 2 on, a 1-1 game, bottom of the 8th inning. The Yankees trying to sweep Cleveland. Throw back to second. Nope. Another fake.
Rather 0 for 2 so far.
Trying to get O'Neill to commit also. Guys, let's put it this way. He's not bunting.
Yeah, really.
He's not bunting.
Really.
Would have been ball two. That was a nasty, either a cutter or a slider.
Looked like a slider to me, but Rincon, he is nasty, and especially nasty on left-handed hitters. Watch this pitch here. Now that's a slider, and that's a Ron Guidry type of slider.
Not only sliding, but going down also.
And away.
So Enrique Wilson moves back to normal depth.
For sure, the bunt's off. With two strikes.
I think Enrique has been convinced. Two and two now to Paul O'Neill. So the Yankees have been delivering with runners in scoring position. Did he go? No, says third base umpire. You're going to have an argument from the Cleveland bench, I would imagine. That was close.
I don't think he wins, but we'll take another look at it and see. He got the hands out. The bat is back, but McKeon behind home plate did what he wanted to do. He asked for help.
Yeah.
And the Bureau said no.
It was close. You knew that was going to be the reaction from Mike Hargrove. So now 3-2. Do you send the runners? What does Joe Torre do? I don't think you send them here.
I don't either.
There they go. Ground ball off the leg of Rincon, and with the runners running, that at least saved a force at second base. How in the world did Paul O'Neill get to that pitch? That pitch was about 6 inches off the plate and off the ground too.
He's about one of the only ones that can do that. Paul has one of those unusual ways of getting to baseballs. You can see where that ball is. That's that slider going down and away. That pitch is probably a foot, maybe even a foot and a half outside of the strike zone. And if the ball doesn't hit Rincon, that's going to be up the middle for a base hit.
Perhaps.
And it turns out to be like the nice sacrifice, perfect sacrifice, because he moves the runners up.
After all is said and done, after our extensive research, and Bobby telling you that O'Neill hasn't sacrificed in 7 years, for all intents and purposes, he just sacrificed. And here's Bernie Williams, who will be walked intentionally, so Rincon can pitch to Tino Martinez. The best laid plans of mice and men, huh?
Well, the bases will be loaded, and Mike Hargrove will get his chance to match who he wants versus Tino Martinez.
So if you're Tino Martinez, and we're not, but if you were, you know that Rincon worked Paul O'Neill away, 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 away. So what do? It's like that song Dixie, right? Look away.
Yeah, well, if Rincon throws Tino Martinez anything but a slider, he's gonna give in to Tino Martinez, because Rincon can only come in with a fastball, as far as I'm concerned, to Tino Martinez if he throws it where he can't swing at it, or he has to come in on a 2-0 or a 3-1 or a 3-0 pitch. Otherwise, Tino Martinez is going to have to hit a slider. And as we've seen here on Paul O'Neill, Rincon hasn't thrown a slider for a strike yet.
Tino Martinez not a fast runner. Why would you bring your infield in this inning? Why wouldn't you play for a double play instead of a play at the plate? But the Indians are bringing their infield in. Now, when you bring your infield in with a guy like Martinez, he could take advantage of it. 1 out, bases loaded. Ball 1, slider away.
As far as I know, Tim, of course we get these stats from the Elias Bureau. I don't think Tino Martinez has ever faced Rincon. I think this is his first ever time to face Ricardo Rincon.
Tino has grounded into 8 double plays this year. He's not a fast runner.
2-0 to Martinez.
Well, I take that back because in the truck, they informed me that Tino has faced Rincon twice, and he's 0 for 2.
Ground ball right side. Tomey will come home, and the throwback to first foot double play. The way I see it, the Indians got away with one then. They played the infield in, Tomey to Diaz, and back to the second baseman, Roberto Alomar covering. Wow. Talk about going against the odds. Look at Alomar going to first base. So a rare 3-2-4 double play. Still 1-1. As far as I'm concerned, what Mike Hargrove just did was similar to in Vegas, hitting 18 when the dealer shows a 6.
The only thing I can think of is that he was planning on Rincon taking care of Martinez, and if he did hit the ball, he was going to hit it just like a little squibber or something.
That's exactly what happened. And Russ Branyan leads it off here in the 9th inning with a single to right field. I mean, if a manager can play for a hitter to hit it off the end of the bat and hit it slowly to the infield, which is exactly what happened, then I'm going to hire him to read my palm.
Well, sometimes, too, the manager has the right each and every pitch, depending on what the count is, to move your infield back and bring them, forward and back.
That's true, but they stayed in all throughout the at-bat for Martinez, all 3 pitches. And on a 2-0 count, Tino grounds it weakly to first. And I got to tell you, if the infield is halfway, a run scores for the Yankees. So Mike Hargrove did exactly what most managers, from my experience, wouldn't do.
Well, they got the double play and got out of there.
No question about it. I mean, there is no, I'm not, I'll guarantee you that you talk to most managers, as Enrique Wilson tried to bunt and couldn't. But again, from the batting stance, but you talk to most managers with the slow runner up, bottom of the tie ball game, you're going to play halfway, at least halfway.
Yeah, Tino now 2 for his last 12 with the bases loaded. Only 2 for 12.
So 0-1 to Enrique Wilson. And the bunt's a beauty. Ramirez will go to first base. Branyan to second. The sacrifice successful. And that will bring up the catcher, Einar Diaz. Think about a guy like Diaz. He caught all 9 innings yesterday. And watched the Yankees score 21 times. And through 8 innings today, the Yankees have plated 1 runner. So Wilson's sacrifice successful. Diaz 1 for 2 against Roger Clemens. He did have a walk. Roger going 7 innings, giving up 1 run and 5 hits, while striking out 6. Fastball from Mendoza, strike 1.
Well, with Diaz doing most of the catching because of Sandy Alomar on the disabled list, when Alomar comes back, he's going to get a chance to rest those little puppies.
Dogs have got to be barking right now, however.
I imagine.
Fastball is tight. 1-1 to Diaz. And that's the score of the game. 1-1 here in the top of the 9th inning. The Indians trying to salvage 1 game of this 3-game series. The Yankees winning in 10 innings on Friday, 9-8, and 21-1 yesterday. Waving futilely with that fastball. 1-2 to Diaz.
Well, it was the bottom of the order in that extra inning game. It was Diaz who was on at first base. He stole second base with Enrique Wilson driving him in as the go-ahead run didn't work out for Cleveland when the Yankees came back.
Tapped foul. Ramiro Mendoza has lost 5 straight
decisions. I know it doesn't seem like that because he had such a good start as a starter, and he went to the bullpen. He's lost 5 straight decisions. That ties for the longest losing streak by a New York pitcher in 9 years. The other, David Wells, lost 5 in a row in 1997. Way outside, I think Romero was trying to get Diaz to bite again. 2-2.
Maybe just to set this next pitch up, which was the breaking ball that Diaz swung at the last time. Show him a fastball out there and then see if he will fish for this. See what happens. Maybe a breaking ball.
Fastball, got him. That fastball looked like a breaking ball. It went down so much.
Kind of a back up something, but that's that sinker. And you know, you get the guy looking outside. What do? You can see that Posada had moved outside, so that pitch there just, I don't know, a slip pitch or whatever it was. You can see where Posada is sitting on the outside part of the plate, and it's thrown in that area. So if you're peaking as a hitter, you're going to get all crossed up.
Going all the way across the plate did Posada. The plate 17 inches wide. Posada on the outside corner, Mendoza on the inside corner, and here's Kenny Lofton. Ball 1 to Lofton. Kenny on the afternoon has scored the only Indian run. He's 1 for 3. He's singled in the 3rd inning. He's also walked. 2 out now in this 1-1 ball game. Jeter breaking towards second, and Mendoza steps off. Ball 2 to Kenny Lofton. Infielders reminded that if you can't make the play on Lofton, knock it down, keep the ball in the infield, and keep the run from scoring. There's a strike, 2-1. Strike 2 to Lofton.
And more than likely, that point that you just brought up, Mendoza throws the sinker ball, doesn't strike out that many, but he gets the ball hit on the ground a lot, so got to knock it down if you can.
On the ground, Mendoza for the 3rd out. Still 1-1. The Yankees with a chance to win it coming up. Baseball is brought to you in part by General Motors, the company you count on wherever life takes you. General Motors, people in motion. Buy Thumans. Remember, fans, when it comes to Thumans, they're the deli best. Buy American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. And by the all-new Grand Cherokee, the most capable sports utility ever. Great ball game this afternoon. Cologne, Clemens started. Both went 7 innings. Here's Curtis facing Ricardo Rincon here in the 9th inning.
Hey, we'd like to take a minute just to wish a happy birthday to Mr. John Letty, who turned 69 today. John's a close friend to everyone here at Fox 5. So happy birthday, John. One of those birthdays used to do wonders for the Yankees a few years back. See what it does here in the 9th inning.
Ball and no strikes to Chad Curtis. Ball 2 to Chad. While we're on that, Bob Shepard's come down with laryngitis, and our get well wishes to Bob. He's probably watching the game today. As an admirable pinch hitter, Jim Hall handling the public address chores here at the stadium this afternoon. There's a strike, 2 balls and a strike now to Chad Curtis. Tie ball game, bottom of the 9th.
Curtis came in to pinch run for Chili Davis back in the 7th inning. And Curtis has heated up with his bat, too, along with Leday. But Curtis can do so many things for you. Besides run, he can play all the outfield positions.
Check swing. Wilson showing good range. Got him. Fine play by Enrique Wilson. 1 out here in the 9th.
Wilson playing even with the bag just in case Curtis wanted to try to bunt, and he catches that slow roller. That'd have been a tough play for Vizquel. If that ball gets by Wilson, probably an infield hit.
Here's Ricky Leday. About that 8th inning again, Robert.
Well,
how many times have you seen a 3-2-4 double play?
First of all, that's a tough double play to make.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's the second double play. But Jim Thome starting that play and forcing the runner at home, and throw back by Diaz to Alomar.
1-1 to Ricky Leday.
Sort of reminded me, not quite the same type of double play. The first game of this 3-game series when Alomar started that great double play at second base, but the bases loaded. Looked like the Yankees were going to lose that ball game, but came back in dramatic fashion. Extra inning to win it.
Hit deep to right center field. Lofton near the wall. Ricky Leday is winning for the New York Yankees against a tough left-hander, Ricardo Rincon. Ricky, you remember those balls you misjudged today? You lost 3 in the sun. All's forgiven. 2-1 Yankee win.
Unbelievable. Ricky Leday, also who had struck out his only 3 times up, ends it here in the 9th inning with a home run. And you said it before, Tim, this game has a way of forgiving for what you have done in the past. And with all the things that have probably been said to Ricky Leday in the dugout by Joe Torre and by Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, and Jose Cardinal, he can go home happy and try to build on that. I guess maybe one of the big hits of Ricky Leday's career, obviously, to get him jump-started this afternoon. And what a dramatic finish again for this Yankee ball club. And you know what? The Indians have scored only 2 runs. We'll take another look at this home run. A towering fly ball. That's the bleacher creatures out there, and they're happy. They stayed around this whole game with 54,944 on hand. But the Yankee pitching staff held this Indian ball club, this explosive offense that they have coming into this ball club. As we take another look at Ricky Leday, no doubt about it, red-hot connection that occurred in the 9th inning.
You try and figure this game out, and it will drive you crazy. Goofy. Ricky Leday strikes out 3 times against the right-hander today, and homers. It's his first home run against the left-hander this year. Oh,
I wasn't looking for a home run.
Man, I'm telling you. My God.
Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy.
Look at that. Just calm, cool, and collected. Ricky Leday with a home run off Ricardo Rincon to win it for the Yankees. My goodness. The New York Yankees sweeping the Cleveland Indians. The Indians have now lost 8 of their last 9. The Yankees 7-1 this week, and what a week it has been. Unbelievable. Starting with that perfect game by David Cone last Sunday. The game on Friday won by Derek Jeter. And Ricky Leday today. What a difference Leday makes.
Oh, nice going.
Final score, 2-1 as the Yankees win it. Folks, be sure to join us on Thursday afternoon. That's this Thursday at 2 o'clock New York time when the Yankees travel to the Windy City to take on the Chicago White Sox. Everything starts right here on Fox 5 at 2 o'clock. For Susan Wallman, Bobby Mercer, Tim McCarver here, sending you back to the Fox 5 studios. We're going to join Hunter, already in progress. See you Thursday, everybody.
In New York, stay at the... return to keep the Yankees on track. Today, the original Baby Bull was honored for his play. Would Baby Bull number 2 continue his MVP march? While Robin Yount spent his whole career making Milwaukee famous, could these guys improve their stock as trade rumors brew? George Brett was the last to come close to hitting 400, but this Orioles looking for 400 of another kind. Did this derail Cal's quest? The Braves feeling the heat from the turf and from the Mets. There's no argument. Baseball Tonight is next.
Hi, everybody. Bill Pito on Baseball Tonight. It is great to have you with us on Hall of Fame Sunday. The inductions later, but first, the Yanks and Indians. 2 straight victories over Cleveland means the Yanks, not the Indians, have the best record in the majors. Roger Clemens changing the uniform number to 22. His son Kobe's Little League number, trying to turn it around on the mound. Top 4, Jim Thome pops to left field. What a day for Ricky Leday. I got it. I can't see it. I have no clue. Drops. Top 6, Omar Vizquel to left center. Bernie Williams in center, Leday in left. I got it, you got it, who's got it? Leday has it. Top 7, Kenny Lofton is center. Bernie Williams says, I got it. Leday says, no, I got it. Actually, Williams made the catch. At the plate, Leday strikes out in the 2nd. He strikes out in the 5th. He strikes out in the 7th and then comes to the plate in the bottom of the 9th with a game tied at 1 against Ricardo Rincon. And there it goes, Ricky Leday. His 4th home run of the year. Rincon said it was a slider that didn't break. And the Yankees do it again, sweeping the Indians. The final score 2-1. Cleveland can't wait to get out of town. Derek Jeter's 10th inning single beat the Indians Friday. Saturday, Cleveland got drilled 21-1, and now this. Indians have lost 9 of 10. Yanks have won 8 of 9. A solid outing for Clemens in a no decision. He gave up 1 run in 7 innings, walking 3 and striking out 6. Inside the series, Cleveland went just 5 for 31 with runners in scoring position. Tom Candiotti and Paul Osemacher were lit up. As a team, the Yanks batted .364. Leday trying to prove that he is worthy of full-time work in left field. Joe Torre on the series. It was great for us. It helps our confidence, and they're reeling a bit. Reeling may be an understatement. Blue Jays and the White Sox. Sean Green. Top 7. The Kosher Kid. 3-run home run. Extends his hit streak to 23 games. Jays up 6-1. Green 2 for 5 in the game. He's hitting .329. How about Chris Carpenter? Control the game. In the 1st, Carlos Lee. Ring him up and sit him down. Great curveball there. In the 4th, Mark Johnson. Down he goes. Carpenter went 8 innings, struck out 7. Said he located his fastball and curve when he needed to. And Toronto wins it 11-3 to remain 7 games behind the Yanks. Carpenter gave up just 2 hits in those 8 innings. He's won 4 straight decisions. Has not lost since May 28th. The home run for Green. He now has at least 1 extra base hit in 9 straight games. 2 short of Jesse Barfield's AL record. His 23-game hit streak is the 2nd longest in team history, behind John Oru's 26-game hit streak back in 1993. How about the Red Sox and the Tigers? Tony Clark. He says he does better when he tries not to hit home runs. Well, he must have not been trying hard today, because there it goes, his 15th of the year. He has a 13-game hitting streak of his own. 5-0 Detroit. Next inning, Clark up this time, hitting righty, and he does righty what he did lefty. Looky here. There it goes, his 16th of the year, and Detroit all over Boston by the score of 9-1. A 6-hitter for Dave Malicki, who throws his 2nd complete game this season. And the bloom appears to be off Boston's rose. Brian gave up 5 runs and 5+. He's given up 21 runs now in his last 5 starts. Boston has now dropped 7 of 11. They're just 20-26 since June 4th, when they led the AL East by 1.5 games. Over in the National League, we have a developing situation in the East, where the Braves' lead over the Mets is down to just a half game. Atlanta against Philly, and Paul Bird, who the Phils claimed off waivers from the Braves last August. Bird says Greg Maddux taught him how to change speeds to overcome his lack of velocity, and the result was an all-star team selection. But Bird is winless in his last 3 starts. It was hot, 146 degrees, in fact, on the turf of the Vet. It was a Christmas Day promotion in July at the Vet. Had to feel sorry for the Fanatic. Top 4 tied at 1. Andrew Jones, homer to the game. He went 3 for 4. Here, off the wall, Ron Gant, the former Brave, comes up with a gun, and Jones trying to go for 2. Out of the mix. Bottom 8, Bobby Cox decides to leave Tom Glavine in to pitch with the bases loaded and 2 out. Phillies down 3. It's Gant. Comes through all the way to the wall. All 3 runs come in to score. And we are tied at 4 heading into extra innings. That's where we find Chipper Jones at the plate in the top of the 10th. Game tied at 4, and Jones cranks his 24th home run of the year, and the Braves win it 5-4 in 10. So the loss drops the Phillies 5.5 games behind the Braves and puts the Braves a full game up on the Mets, pending the Mets game Sunday night against Chicago. Details from Shea later on Baseball Tonight. The Braves whacking 4 homers, all solo shots, and no decision for Bird. John Rocker threw 1 1/3 in relief. He's now 3-3. Nolan Ryan played for 27 years, the longest career in the history of the major leagues. He saw the game become big business. After his first year in the majors in 1967, Ryan actually had to pump gas during the offseason to make ends meet. George Brett and Robin Yount were unique for their talent, but also because each spent their entire career with one team, making their mark before players became nomadic commodities. These 3 highlight the largest Cooperstown class since 1972.
I can honestly say it took 2 full years for me to get over the fact that I was no longer a baseball player.
Nolan Ryan, one of the most overpowering pitchers in history, is the all-time strikeout, no-hitter, and walks leader. He pitched for 4 teams, recorded at least 300 strikeouts 6 times, including a Major League record 383 in 1973.
My ability to throw a baseball was a gift. It was a God-given gift, and I'm truly appreciative of that gift. It took me a while to figure that out and to realize what a gift that I'd been given. And when I finally did, I dedicated myself to be the best pitcher I possibly could be for as long as I possibly could be.
Robin Yount spent his entire career in Milwaukee. Yount debuted for the Brewers as a skinny 18-year-old shortstop in 1974. In the next 20 seasons, Yount won the AL MVP at 2 positions, hit 300 or better 6 times, and became the 3rd youngest player to reach the 3,000 hit plateau.
Now's the time where I'm supposed to wake up from all of this. I mean, it's okay. It's been a great dream. But if in fact this is reality, then with all due respect, Mr. Gehrig, today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
George Brett debuted in Kansas City in 1973 as a 3rd baseman. Brett is the only major leaguer to ever win batting crowns in 3 different decades. And then he capped off his spectacular 21-year career by becoming the 18th member of the 3,000 hit fraternity, a goal that came from humble expectations.
To my brothers, you know, sometimes I wonder why all this has happened to me and not you. All I ever wanted to do was be as good as you.
Other inductees, Orlando Cepeda, who had 379 homers and was a league MVP in 1967. Smokey Joe Williams, he pitched for 20 years in the Negro Leagues. Frank Sealy, who was one of the most successful managers in National League history. And the late Nestor Shylock is the 8th ump to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Coming up on Baseball Tonight, Mike Piazza will try to help the Mets continue their climb in the NL East. New York has won 4 games in a row. And there was nothing sweet about Lou as the Mariners took on the Twins. What happened?
Welcome to Help Corps, the service specialists. All of our operators